Yeah, actually, Ryan and Michael are both freshmen. I think Ryan's greatest quality is he's just tough, and he's a tough guy, and he runs hard. But just in terms of blocking and the mental toughness to be out there with a bunch of veterans and make sure that he fulfills his part in what he does. And so a lot of my confidence comes from just who Ryan is, the toughness, the way that he practices, the way he approaches the game. Like so many guys that we've gotten from St. Ansgar, they're just tough guys.
Chatting with Coach Ryan, head coach of Morningside football. A little bit of personnel there, discussion, getting out of the way. Now we're on to Kansas Wesleyan here, your matchup in the quarterfinals today. If we start looking at the offense here, Coach, it seems like you've been running into a number of great offenses here lately with Northwestern in the regular season, Ottawa last week, Kansas Wesleyan this week. Tell me what kind of things stand out about this Kansas Wesleyan offense.
Yeah, I mean, Northwestern, Ottawa, Kansas Wesleyan are all top 5 offenses in the country, and they're all exceptionally, explosive. And, what makes, Kansas Wesleyan different than, let's say, Ottawa last week is you're just going to see more tight ends and more what you would traditionally call running type formations, and they're going to run the ball. And they run the ball very effectively. And where last week, wasn't so much so, we really have got to be able to stop the run. And then, their quarterback, Randall, he's conference player of the year. He's a dynamic player, throws an outstanding ball. And he's got a great crew of receivers. So, yeah, they're very talented on offense.
That was one thing I thought that you guys did really well most of the game against Ottawa. Whenever they did go to the run, which wasn't very often, all things considered, but whenever they did go to the run, you guys were able to stuff that pretty well last week. What you say you have to stop the run again this week. What's it going to take out of your guys to be able to do that against Kansas Wesleyan?
Yeah, I mean, they just have to be very physical up front and move the line of scrimmage to the other side of the ball, and just not allow their backs to spend time where they can find holes and make decisions. So often with stopping the run, it's about being physical, it's about displacing the line of scrimmage, it's about being sound in terms of staying in your gap.
You mentioned Isaiah Randall as a dynamic player leading their offense at the quarterback position. What do you have to do to take him out of his rhythm, to make him less comfortable back there? What kind of things have to be done to try and address him?
Yeah, I mean, there's really only one way to take a quarterback out of the rhythm and make him less comfortable. It is by putting some pressure on him, and whether it's with 4 men rushing or it's bringing some kind of pressure. A lot of it starts with our D-line. They just have to do a great job of creating pressure on the quarterback and just not giving him time to sit and be comfortable and find his receivers. And when you play these outstanding quarterbacks that have great receivers, I mean, you just can't cover those guys forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of those guys we'll have to match up on the outside with is Stevie Williams, an 1,000-yard receiver, 15 touchdowns. The list goes on and on. As you've watched him in film, what kind of things stand out to you, and explain why he's been such a top receiver for them this year?
Yeah, Stevie's been there, I want to say, like 25 years. But he's been there for a while. They've had some great teams for several years, and he's been a part of it. And he's just got great hands, explosive speed, runs great routes. He's one of the truly great receivers that are in the NAIA right now.
Well, last thing about the offense there, Coach, you talked about a team that plays a tight end a little bit more and more running style formations versus, the Ottawa offense you faced last week that spread the field a lot more. What kind of differences do you have to make in your defense, formation, scheme-wise, things like that, to adjust for a spread offense versus one like this that uses a tight end and things like that?
Well, tight ends create one more gap in terms of that you have to fit into in terms of the running game. It also brings one more blocker into the box that is an effective blocker in terms of what they can do. The one thing about McClure for Kansas Wesleyan, very similar to Anderson at Northwestern, is they're not just blockers, but they're outstanding receivers. So you just have to be aware of where they are in terms of the passing game, but they just open up options in terms of what you can do in the running game.
Steve Ryan is the head coach of Morningside football, chatting about this Kansas Wesleyan team. That's a look at the offense for the Coyotes, Coach. Defensively, this is a team that also has been able to slow down some potent offenses. They've been able to put up the numbers defensively. What kind of things have they been able to do this year that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think their front seven is outstanding. So what they do a great job of is putting pressure on the quarterback. I want to say they have something like 35 or 36 sacks on the year, and they do a great job. They got a pair of outstanding defensive ends and putting pressure on the quarterback, making the quarterback uncomfortable, and actually getting home to him.
So what's the key then with these front seven in particular to make sure you give Joe the time he needs?
Well, if one of them, you're supposed to block one of them, block them. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's the key. Is that guys are sound, in terms of their blocking, and whoever they're blocking, they need to, be able to pick their guy up, and for Joe, he needs to be where he's supposed to be so they can do a better job of that.
Devontae Gabriel is their middle linebacker. He leads the team in tackles. Is he one of those guys that could come in and pressure, kind of go in the secondary and just kind of make plays all over the field?
Gabriel's a run stopper, and he does an outstanding job of that in the middle of the field and allows them maybe perhaps to do some more from a pass rush standpoint. They don't particularly blitz him a lot, but he does a great job in the middle of the field in terms of what his responsibilities are.
How about that secondary as well? Julian Ariosti, number 14, their free safety back there, really stood out to me with his numbers, especially the amount of interceptions he has. He has 4 on the year. So what do they like to do in the secondary that you're going to have to be watching for in the passing game?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a very athletic secondary. They do a good job. They play a lot of man-to-man. Osteen, a lot of times it's just the free safety in the middle field. What I think he does a great job of is he covers a lot of field, and he's very sound. He never seems to be out of the position that he's supposed to be in. He just does a great job with what his responsibilities are.
Another thing about that defense, Coach, is I was looking at some of their numbers. The defensive third down, fourth down, and red zone numbers are all under 50% that they allow this season. So from that standpoint, what have you seen out of their defense that allows them to get opposing offenses off the field on third and fourth down or keep them out of the end zone when they get down inside the 20?
Well, they put pressure on the quarterback, and that's what they do a good job of is making the quarterback feel uncomfortable and thereby being able to limit what he can do.
Last thing here for you, Coach, a crucial game, lots of things that you want to see done right on the field. So what are some of those main keys, those main objectives that you want to be successful in this contest?
Yeah, I think for every big game, we have to win the game on special teams, and that's always an important thing for us is winning the game on special teams. And then number 2, being able to take care of the ball and get turnovers. We need to be able to get turnovers tomorrow.
I like the sound of that, Coach. We hope that's the case. We appreciate your time, and best of luck.
All right. Thanks, Daniel.
Absolutely. That was head coach Steve Ryan, head coach of Morningside University football, on our Drilling Pharmacy pregame report as the Mustangs get ready to play in their 16th NAIA Football Championship Series quarterfinal contest in the last 18 seasons when they host Kansas Wesleyan. Our kickoff is coming up just around the corner. We're back with more of our Drilling Pharmacy pregame report after this break. You're listening to Mustang Playoff Football on Fox Sports Radio, 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium on the campus of Morningside University. Daniel Versteg and Bob Goodvin with you. It is our Drilling Pharmacy pregame report. Number 10, Kansas Wesleyan, getting set to take on second-ranked Morningside in the NAIA Football Championship Series quarterfinal round. As you heard earlier on, the Mustangs are playing in their 16th NAIA quarterfinal contest in the last 18 seasons. Kansas Wesleyan won the toss. They elected to defer. Morningside will get the football to start the contest. Let's go down to the third member of our crew. That is Jonathan Covert, who's down on the sideline for us. I think we got all our audio issues resolved from earlier there. Jonathan, what are you kind of feeling? We're about a minute and a half from kickoff. What's the atmosphere like?
Well, this is a fun atmosphere, Daniel. Everybody's getting pumped up. This is fantastic weather for this time of year. I mean, for this being after Thanksgiving, it's 50-some degrees out. Something that's interesting, and it'll vary on which side of the field Morningside's on. The farther to the west you get, the more windy it is. If you're on the east side, there's a little less wind. Overall, that wind northwest at 20 could prove interesting as this game goes along.
Well, right you are, Jonathan. Thank you very much. Yeah, we don't always get to talk about a wind style of game, a game with the wind as the advantage. But, yeah, to Jonathan's point, the goalposts on the west side, the flags are blowing crazy. The goalposts on the east side are not quite as windy. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those kind of weird styles of games. Kansas Wesleyan's going to have the wind at their back to start, but it's just one of those kind of things you have to deal with, right, Bob?
Well, I've said for 35 years that when the wind blows out of the north or the south or southwest, northwest, it will swirl in the stadium.
Right.
And you will see it blowing one way on one end of the field, maybe another way on the other end, or definitely like he said, not as hard on one end of the field. And you can see that right now. So,
well, wind, no wind, whatever the case may be, we are ready to start the 66th Annual NAIA Football Championship Series quarterfinal. Aaron Main, junior kicker for Kansas Wesleyan, has it teed up at his own 35. And it is Michael Payne back there to return for the Mustangs. Main gets a good right-footed end-over-end boot into it, and Payne lets it sail out of the end zone for a touchback. So Morningside will start the opening drive of this contest from their own 25-yard line. And Bob, the million-dollar question now, Anthony Sims out of the lineup. What kind of things will Morningside be looking to do without him there in the starting lineup?
Well, I'm sure they're not going to change much of their approach to anything. The thing I want to see is if Kansas Wesleyan's going to play man and not blitz, can Morningside protect the quarterback and give them receivers time to get open?
Schweigert motions right to left as we start this contest. A give right up the middle. It's Ryan Cole, and he gets wrapped up and dropped for no gain right back to the original line of scrimmage. Good press in there from the Coyotes, and middle linebacker Devontae Gabriel making the stop to bring up 2nd and 10.
The one thing you'd say about the Morningside offensive line all year is that they protected the quarterback extremely well.
Yep.
And I think there's a stat he hasn't been sacked yet all year.
Joe has not been sacked all year.
I mean, that's amazing. So.
Yeah, statistically they've allowed 2 sacks, but none to Joe Dalenchek. Here's 2nd and 10 of the 25. A play-action fake to Cole. Dalenchek throws deep over the left seam to a wide-open Johnson. Makes a leaping grab over the defender and gets tripped up across the 40 to the Kansas Wesleyan 38-yard line. Big completion there to Johnson of 37 yards and a Mustang first down.
We talk a lot about Jurgensmeyer and we talk some about Schweigert, but I think Austin Johnson's the diamond in the rough. I think he is an excellent receiver.
1st and 10 now at the Coyote 37. Dalenchek throws right side. That one was batted away at the line of scrimmage by Cole Parker, the defensive end. They were trying to find Jurgensmeyer on a little shallow route to the outside, and it's 2nd and 10.
I think as teams go to the west, in other words, left to right as we're looking at
Yep.
it, throwing the ball vertically is going to be a challenge. And you kind of saw that on the 2 plays ago. The ball did hang up in the wind a little bit.
Yeah, Johnson had to come back for that one and allow the defender to close in on him a bit. Jurgensmeyer motions to the outside on 2nd and 10. Pistol set, a handoff up the middle. It's Ryan Cole, and Cole gets wrapped up and tackled forward for a gain of 2. Out to the Kansas Wesleyan 35. This is going to set up 3rd and 8. And, Bob, we were talking before the contest. Kansas Wesleyan allows teams only a 27% conversion rate on 3rd down. So 3rd down, as you talk about all the time, going to be extra crucial here today.
Well, it's the most important down. I mean, either you get off the field or you stay on the field. And And now it's 3rd and 8, and these aren't the easiest scenarios right now.
From the Coyote 35-yard line, Dalenchek with 2 receivers on either side. Motions Jurgensmeyer outside. Dalenchek to throw over the right seam. It's caught by Johnson. Spins away from a tackler, 25-20. 15-10 right sideline. Broke a tackle to the 5 and gets tackled into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Austin Johnson's 7th touchdown reception of 2021 has Morningside up 6-0 on the People's Bank scoreboard.
Well, we talked about Wesleyan playing a lot of man in the first 3 or 4 plays. They played nothing but zone, and that time Austin Johnson just ran a curl route and sat in the window of the zone, and Dalenchek did a good job of finding him.
And now Chase Carter will try and tack on the point after try, of which he is 88 for 89 this season on point after kicks. With our score 6-0, only a minute 42 gone in quarter number 1. Chase Carter off the hold of Caden Ladwig, and it is Jacob Murphy doing the snapping for the Mustangs. Good snap, good spot. And the kick through the uprights, it is good. A right-footed end-over-end kick. 7-0 early. A quick 5-play, 75-yard drive ends in an Austin Johnson touchdown reception. Mustangs lead 7-0. Kansas Wesleyan will have a chance to respond when we return in 30 seconds. You're listening to Mustang Football on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City. And we welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Up in the booth, Daniel Versteg alongside Bob Goodvin. Jonathan Covert joins us on the sideline. We'll get a check-in with Jonathan here in just a moment. 13-18 to play in the first quarter. A 5-play, 75-yard drive that ends in a 35-yard touchdown pass from Joe Dalenchek to Austin Johnson. The 7th time those two have hooked up for a score this year. The Mustangs have the first lead of the contest, 7-0 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Early on in the quarterfinals of the NAIA Football Championship Series, and we're seeing a bit of the wind play a factor here. Chase Carter can't get that thing teed up, so Ben Chelsvig is going to have to lend his right hand, keep the ball sturdy ahead of this kickoff. And you mentioned there, Bob, the return man for Kansas Wesleyan there, and Stevie Williams standing at his own 18-yard line. Normally they're back 13 yards further than that.
Well, this is a bigger thing than you think when somebody has to hold the ball, because that tells you who their safety is in their coverage.
Here's the kick, and this is actually returned by Trayvon Macon at his own 15-yard line. Takes out right seam 20, stiff arms a man outside the right numbers 25, and tackled on the right sideline at the 27-yard line. Kansas Wesleyan starts 1st and 10 there. Let's check in with the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, down on the sideline for us. Jonathan, what kind of things have you noticed right away down there?
Yeah, Morningside looks good offensively. A nice effort to get in the end zone. The interesting thing from field side here, that hold wasn't as clean as it probably looked up there. Wind might have had a little bit to do with it, but Chase Carter made it look easy.
That's good to hear, yeah, that Chase is able to work with something not as clean there. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Here is a flag on the first play of the contest for Kansas Wesleyan. And a handoff up the middle goes to the 31-yard line. That's C.J. Fluker on the carry for the Coyotes. But we'll await this flag and see what we got to assess.
I think they're going to get the corner for lining up offsides.
And it is offsides on the Mustangs.
Yeah, the corners for Morningside on the first play are pressing the receivers, and the safeties are more in the box, and thus they're playing run a little bit more, and that leaves those corners on an island. And I think the Morningside corner just pressed him a little too much and lined up offsides.
So that turns a 1st and 10 from the 27 or 28 to a 1st and 5 at about the 33-yard line. Here is Isaiah Randall, the quarterback of the Coyotes. A 3-step drop, throws it deep over the left seam and well overthrew his target. Looking for Aaron Jenkins, the tight end, over the hash mark. Overthrew him by about 5 yards, and the incompletion brings up 2nd and 10.
Well, he had Jenkins run the post, and he had him. He had 2 or 3 steps on the coverage. But, you know, a lot of people just assume it's easier to throw the ball with the wind. And sometimes it's not, because the wind will take the ball and just sail it on you. And that's exactly what happened right there, because he had him, and he overthrew him by 7 or 8 yards.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to air it out that much. We have, they incorrectly spotted the ball there at first, so it'll be 2nd down and 5 for the Coyotes from their own 33-yard line. As Randall lines up in the pistol, throws a screen pass left side to Aaron Jenkins, turns outside his blocker, 35, and he runs over Drew Bessie and gets out of bounds at the 40-yard line. It's a pickup of 7 there for Jenkins. It's 1st and 10, Kansas Wesleyan.
Well, the Morningside corner broke Cardinal rule number 1, and that is you just cannot let people outside of you. You got to keep contained, and the Wesleyan receiver did a good job of blocking him to the inside, and thus picked up 7 yards.
1st and 10 now for the Coyotes from their own 40-yard line. Midfield is the line to gain. Out of the pistol, a flea flicker. Randall looking to throw. Now nobody's open. Throws right sideline and well overthrew Stevie Williams. They handed it off to Nick Alsman, pitched it back to Randall looking for a flea flicker, but great coverage by the Mustang defense, allowing nobody open.
Well, the purpose of the play is to get the safeties to bite. As soon as you hand off, you hope those safeties fly up and run support, and that time they didn't. And if you notice, it was only a 2-man route, and thus it was maximum protection. So there was nobody to throw to.
Now, I wonder, they've had to stop play a couple of times to respot the football. I think the wind might be blowing that ball on the turf there before they can get set up. Here's 2nd and 10 at the 40-yard line. It's a pitch play right side. It's Drayvon Macon out of the backfield, taking it outside and getting brought down for only a yard gain to the 41-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 9 for the Coyotes. Drayvon Macon normally lines up as a wide receiver, the junior from Los Angeles, California, who has 55 catches, just under 10 yards a catch, but also has touched the ball 33 times in the run game. Now an empty backfield look for Isaiah Randall, the junior quarterback from Sacramento, has 3rd down and 9 at his own 41-yard line. 3 receivers left, 2 right. Tried to get the Mustangs to bite a little bit, maybe on a hard count.
Look in the linebacker box right now. There's nobody in the box, and that tells me they don't respect his ability to run the ball at all.
Yeah, only a 4-man rush. Pass over the middle, caught by Williams at the 45, and he's taken down backwards. They got him a forward progress at the 46. It's a gain of 5. 4th and 4 upcoming.
Well, one of the stats we talked about in off the air was Kansas Wesleyan's gone for it an unbelievable amount of times on 4th down. They've gone for it 42 times, and that's about 3 or 4 a game. But here they're going to decide to punt.
Yeah, we'll see if that becomes a factor here later on, Bob. But yeah, 42 attempts, 28 successes on 4th down. That's a 67% conversion rate on 4th down attempts. But now it will be Miguel Mion to punt this one away. The junior who's punted the ball 32 times. Oh, it's a direct snap to an up back, carrying up the middle, and it's Roy Sanders coming up short of midfield at the 49-yard line. They try to trick punt, direct snap to Roy Sanders, and he comes up about 1.5 yards short. It'll be a turnover on downs. Morningside starts at the Kansas Wesleyan 48.
Well, there's no way he had the 1st down, but boy, that's they marked that ball 1 yard back further
right.
But there's still no way he probably had the 1st down. But that might explain why they have so many attempts on 4th down. They fake a lot of punts, and I guess if you fake enough of them, you might as well keep your offense on the field because it's no longer a surprise.
I will correct myself. I think that was Zaire Velasquez who was in the shield that carried that ball. Either way, coming up short, play action pass over the middle. Got deflected away from Reed Juergensmeyer in the secondary. Julian Uriosti, the free safety, on the coverage to force it incomplete, and it's 2nd and 10.
You know, there are footballs flying all over the field.
There are.
I mean, the game ball somehow got almost to the Morningside sideline, and it should have been coming from the Wesleyan sideline.
Yeah, the wind is it's wreaking its havoc on a number of aspects of the game. Here's a 4-receiver set, 2 on either side. Dolencheck out of the gun, 3-step drop, throws to the left numbers, and overthrows Austin Johnson into the wind. Incomplete pass. It's now 3rd and 10.
And that's what I talked about earlier. Sometimes you throw the ball vertically into the wind, and the wind just catches it, and it sails it high. And I think that's what happened right there.
10:43 to play in the first quarter. 2nd-ranked Morningside leads 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7-0 on the People's Bank scoreboard. 2 receivers left, 1 right, tight end right. of Joe Dolenchek in the gun. Ryan Cole off his left hip. Motions Cole out of the backfield to the left side on 3rd and 10. Dolenchek to throw. Looks right, looks left. He's facing pressure. Throws over the middle. It's caught by Juergensmeyer, and he gets clocked at the 36-yard line. Hangs on to the ball to the 35. It's a gain of 13, and it's a first down for the Mustangs.
Well, in the first 2 drives, they've had a 3rd and 9 and converted, and that time is all but 3rd and 10 and converted. So those are big conversions for the Morningside offense.
Dolenchek, a screen pass left side, goes to Tuifua, takes it up the left, numbers 31, gets upended and lands on his shoulder at about the 30-yard line. It's a gain of about 5 there for Sione Tuifua to bring up 2nd and 5.
When you throw as many screens as Morningside throws, and that's just the bubble screen there, that it just becomes an extension of your run game.
10 minutes and counting left to play in the first quarter. 7-0 Mustangs on the People's Bank scoreboard. Dolenchek, 2 receivers left and 1 receiver right. Motions Johnson left to right as a wide receiver. Dolenchek, a play action, throws a screen right side. Johnson has some blockers up the right seam, 25, but he got tripped up across the 25 to the 23. That is a gain of 7, and it's first down yardage for Johnson near the red zone.
Well, unless you're going to press the Morningside defenders, you're going to see a ton of screens, whether it's the hash screen there or the bubble screen, and like I said, that's nothing more than an extension of the run game at some point.
1st and 10 now at the Coyote 22-yard line. Dolenchek's all by himself in the gun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 receivers to his right. A chest-high snap. Dolenchek to throw, right sideline, caught by Juergensmeyer, who tiptoes the sideline at the 16. Good reception there by Juergensmeyer. Picks up 6 yards, and it's 2nd and 4.
Yeah, just a simple little speed out to read there. And, like I said, if you're going to give them cushion, they're going to do that all day to you.
Yeah, Morningside does not need to be flashy. They will gladly take those plays if you give it to them. 2nd down and 4, needing the 12-yard line. Coyotes maybe show a bit of a rush off the edge here as Tuifua motions as a tight end. Play action pass, throws left side. What a catch by Juergensmeyer out across the 12 to the 10-yard line. He just stuck his left hand out there and ended up with the football. Might want to check his glove for stickum on that one. It's a gain of 6, and it's first down and goal to go.
Well, that's that most common RPO, I think, and that's just a zone stick. And I think Morningside could have simply ran the now screen. They had the receiver stacked out there, and when you don't press the stack, the now screen's there, and you're going to pick up 5 to 10 yards easily.
8:30 to play in the first quarter. The Mustangs looking for a 2-score advantage. Play action pass, throws over the middle, and overthrows Zach Norton. A little bit wide of him on the coverage there. Looked like it was Kamari Bennett, the freshman. Incompletion brings up 2nd and 10.
I'd almost say that's the first time I've seen Wesleyan play pure man. They got up in the face of the number ones and pressed them, and I think that was the first time we saw him play man. Otherwise, it's been all zone.
8:22 in the first quarter. 7-0 Mustangs. Morningside has 2nd and goal from the Kansas Wesleyan 10-yard line. 2 receivers right, 2 tight ends left of the line of scrimmage. Out of the pistol, a handoff left side. Cole follows his tight ends and gets tackled forward to the 8-yard line. Only a pickup of 2 to bring up 3rd down and goal.
What you could have saw right there is they lined Juergensmeyer up in the slot, in other words, the number 2 receiver, and he just ran the bubble, and I'm sure it was some type of a pre-snap read for the quarterback. But if you notice, that just took the safety out of the play, and thus he had no run support responsibility, and thus now you got numbers in the run game at that point.
I had to blow this one dead before it started. Now we're ready to go. 3rd and goal from the Coyotes 7. A screen pass left side. That's Jack Sievert down to the 5. And Kansas Wesleyan keeps him out of the end zone at the 2-yard line. Gains 5. It's 4th down and goal.
And that's what we talked about 2 plays ago. When they stack those receivers and don't press number 1, they're going to just throw the now screen. And that's exactly what Morningside did.
So 4th and goal for Morningside of the Coyote 2-yard line. Trying to go up 2 possessions here in the quarterfinals. An I formation. Dolenchek under center. Now an offset I with Towdy as the fullback. Dolenchek gives it up the middle. It's Ryan Cole. Lowers his shoulder. Drives the pile into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Ryan Cole's 11th score of the season. It comes on 4th and goal. And the Mustangs lead 13-0 on the People's Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, when somebody asked me about Wesleyan's defense and, they said they're top 10 defense in the country, I said they haven't seen Morningside's offense. I mean, it's just a different animal.
It really is. Line play, skill position, quarterback, it is a completely different program as Chase Carter swings his right foot and boots that thing through the uprights and good. We're seeing the wind after it gets through the uprights, but a good kick there from Carter. It's 14-0 Mustangs, 7:15 in the first quarter. We'll take a 30-second break. We're back with more Mustang football after this on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium from the Irving and Carolyn Jensen press box. Daniel Versteg and Bob Goodvin with you. Jonathan Covert joins us on the sideline. We'll check in with Jonathan here in just a moment. 7:15 to play in the first quarter. Second-ranked Morningside 14. It's 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan, nothing on the People's Bank scoreboard. An 11-play, 48-yard drive. That one took almost 4 total minutes, 3 minutes and 37 seconds off the clock. And ends in a Ryan Cole 2-yard touchdown run to put the Mustangs up by 2 scores. And now here's the kickoff from Chase Carter. Sends a right-footed end-over-end boot. This one's fielded by Macon at his own 16-yard line. Takes it up the right hash to the 20, 25. And nowhere to go there for Drayvon Macon. He gets brought down at the 28-yard line. That's where Kansas Wesleyan starts their second drive of the contest. Down to the field level, let's go to Mr. Jonathan Covert, who's hanging out down there for us. Jonathan, what kind of things are you noticing down there?
Well, first thing, Daniel, it is just super impressive watching Chase Carter with just kicking the extra points. I mean, they're just extra points, but here field side, that wind out of the northwest is, as you guys have been talking about, is quite a bit noticeable down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Jonathan. The kicking game is one that gets affected by the wind most. Here's a sweeper on the right side. C.J. Fluker gets first down yardage across the 35. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Picks up a dozen. 1st and 10 right away for Kansas Wesleyan.
If you don't think the wind's blowing, watch the ref throw the ball to the sideline. I mean, he throws it underarm like they do all the time. That ball went 5 yards out of the way.
Yeah, the wind is definitely playing a factor today as a handoff goes to Fluker again out of the pistol. He broke through the pile a little bit across the 42 to the 43-yard line. Kansas Wesleyan with a gain of 3 there on the carry by Fluker, and it's 2nd and 7.
You don't normally say this in the first quarter, but I really think right now Wesleyan's got to think we got to score.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't give the ball back to Morningside because it might be 21-0 before you blink your eyes.
Mm-hmm. 2 receivers on either side as Isaiah Randall lines up in the pistol. Now motions Fluker out of the backfield. Randall the throw over the middle. That one's caught by Aaron Jenkins. Bessie kept him short there, but they're going to give him midfield. So he picks up 7 yards on the completion to Jenkins and moves the chains for a Coyote first down. Morningside fans are not happy with the spot, though. It was close.
I question their spots a lot, but I do think that was the right spot. I really do.
Right, I would agree with that. Just from where they started the tackle, I would say, it was enough there. So 1st and 10 for the Coyotes from midfield as they try and get into Mustang territory for the first time this afternoon. A pistol set for Randall. Fakes the pitch. 3-step drop to throw. Heaves it deep left sideline for Stevie Williams. Oh, it hit his hands inside the 5, and he couldn't hang on. An incomplete pass. Jamal Jones was on the coverage, and it's 2nd and 10.
Well, I say this week in, week out, but when you're playing Morningside and you got a chance to make a play, you got to make a play. And, last week it was a dropped interception, and that ball hit him right in the hands, right in stride, and that would have been 6 points.
Yeah, he had a couple steps on Jamal Jones there, streaking over the middle of the field. Now 2nd and 10 from the 50-yard line. Randall in the pistol, receiver on either side, turns right and gives it to Fluker up the middle, and CJ gets dropped. Ball came out. Oh, somebody's got on the pile. Morningside says they do at the 50-yard line. A lot of Mustang arms pointing in their direction. And we'll find out here in just a moment who's got the football. Now Kansas Wesleyan says they do, and they do still retain possession. A little bit of a heart attack there for the Coyotes, almost turning it over, and it'll be 3rd and 10 from the 50-yard line. Well, you hold your breath there for a moment if you're a Kansas Wesleyan fan. With 5:20 to play in the first quarter, 14-0 Mustangs on the People's Bank scoreboard. Coyotes with a 5-receiver set. Randall by himself in the gun. 3 to his left, 2 to his right. Morningside has only 4 personnel in the box.
Right.
Four down linemen.
That's exactly right. And if they have any type of quarterback draw, quarterback trap, then now's the time to do it.
Randall rolls right, being chased toward the sideline. He throws back over the middle, and the pass is batted away by Lonell Boyd Jr. An incomplete pass gotten between Jenkins and the ball. It'll be 4th down and 10 for Kansas Wesleyan, and the punting unit comes back out.
Well, I think the boys in white over there want pass interference, and I think that's a legitimate argument.
Yeah.
Look at the coach down there. He's chasing the ref.
Yeah, Lonell, I would say, got a little early there to the ball and made contact with Jenkins on that reception attempt. So now Miguel Mian, the junior, is back out to punt this one once again this afternoon. And this time it is a punt. He did not punt the first time. They ran a fake. That's a good spiral to the right sideline. That sails out of bounds. And they will spot that one out of bounds of the Mustang 15-yard line. So 1st and 10, Morningside starts inside their own red zone.
Well, I think we're going to look back and say that drop touchdown pass is going to be a big play, at least early in the game.
I would agree. 4:43 left in the first quarter. It turns it from a 14-7 ball game to 14-0 right now on the People's Bank scoreboard. And like you said earlier, could end up being 21-0 after all is said and done on this drive. Morningside starts at 4:43 on the first quarter clock. 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line. Dalenchek, 2 receivers right, none left. Pistol set, a handoff up the middle. It's Mike Miner. And Miner gets spun around and brought down to the 16-yard line for only a gain of 1. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Morningside in their 16th NAIA Football Championship Series quarterfinal appearance in the last 18 years. Last time the quarterfinal round did not feature Morningside University or college. Got to go back to 2011. Before that, it was in the mid-2000s. 2nd down and 9 to go. 2 receivers right, none left. Sievert, the tight end, motions right to left. A screen pass right side is dropped by Caleb Schwegert, and they rule incomplete. No backwards pass. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Mustangs from their own 16.
And again, Morningside came out in that stack receiver set, and Wesleyan is not pressing the number 1 receiver. And if Schwegert catches the ball, he's going to pick up 5 yards.
4:02 left to play in the first quarter. Kansas Wesleyan's defense trying to come out and keep Morningside out of the end zone or off the scoreboard for the first time on a Mustang drive. 3 receivers right, 2 left. An empty backfield of Joe Dalenchek in the gun. On 3rd and 9 from his own 16. A belt high snap, 3-step drop, 3-man Coyote rush, throws right sideline, and the pass is caught by Zach Norton at the 26. It's a gain of 10. Norton with a great diving effort hauls it in, and it's 1st and 10 for the Mustangs.
That's the third and 9 that they've converted in this game already.
Now that alone tells you how this has been going for the Mustangs this afternoon. After the 3rd and 9, it's now 1st and 10. Morningside from their own 25-yard line. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Dalenchek in the gun. Motion Schwegert right to left across the line of scrimmage. Dalenchek pump fakes the screen, looks to throw deep over the left seam to Norton. Pass is juggled. It's caught across the 45, and then the ball came out late. They're going to rule a catch down by contact at the Coyote 37-yard line. It's a big gain of 37 and a 1st down for Morningside. Boy,
you'd like to see the replay on that.
I would really enjoy the replay on that one, but now Morningside's going to line up quickly, not even give them a chance to talk about it. A fluttering screen pass caught by Norton across the 35, and he's tackled on the right sideline at about the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 8 to bring up 2nd and 2.
And there's that now screen to the stacked receiver, and that's going to be there all day unless they press number 1.
Dalenchek out of the pistol. 2 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. A tight end on the right side as well. Miner in the backfield. It's a give to Miner around the right side. He's wrapped up for a loss back at the 31-yard line. Only a yard loss on the play. Now it's 3rd and 3 for the Mustangs. 2:30 to play in the first quarter. Second-ranked Morningside leads 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 14-0 here on the People's Bank scoreboard. 2 receivers line up left. 2 tight ends right of Dalenchek in the pistol. Ryan Cole in the backfield. The snap to Joe. Handoff up the middle. Cole broke a tackle, and he gets stopped really close to the marker. They're going to give it to them, though, at the 28-yard line. That's a gain of 3 and just enough to move the sticks for a Mustang first down.
Yeah, that time Wesleyan brought a linebacker that just brought him to the wrong side of the formation, and it was a good call by the Morningside staff.
Clock ticks under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. 2 receivers on either side of Dalenchek. Lining up with Ryan Cole in the backfield off his right hip from the Coyote 28-yard line. Dalenchek looks toward the sideline. Now surveys the defense. Bell high snap, 3-step drop, throws deep over the middle. Johnson makes the catch inside the 5 and walks into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. But there is a flag back at the 20-yard line.
Well, they just blatantly tackled Reed Jurgensmeyer. I was watching his route, and the linebacker just literally reached out and grabbed him and tackled him.
So Johnson's touchdown will stand, and Morningside will take a 20-0 lead on the People's Bank scoreboard following the penalty there.
You don't have to talk too long about this.
Yeah, they've got two flags there, both for the same call. So one official's going to pick up his flag. Let's see what the call. Holding on the defense. That is the call, and the penalty is obviously declined. And the Mustang touchdown stands, and that's Austin Johnson's 2nd score of the afternoon already. 8 touchdowns on the season now for AJ, and Chase Carter will add a point after try here to try and put the Mustang lead to 21 points. With 1:33 to play in quarter number 1, Caden Ladwig will do the holding. Carter, who has been so automatic this year, he's been fun to watch. There's a snap in the spot. The point after kick sails through the uprights. It's good. 21-0 Morningside with 1:33 to play in quarter number 1. We will take a 30-second break. We'll come back. The Coyotes, well, they'll have another chance to respond when we come back. You're listening to Mustang Football on Fox Sports Radio, 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium up in the Irving and Carolyn Jensen press box. Daniel Versteeg, Bob Goodwin with you. Jonathan Covert is down on the sideline. We'll get a word in from Jonathan here in just a moment. With 1:33 left to play in the first quarter, second-ranked Morningside leads 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 21-0 on the People's Bank scoreboard. And Chase Carter ready to boot this one away from his own 35-yard line. It's Bryson Freeberg on the hold. And the high right-footed end-over-end kick is backed up, and Drayvon Macon fields it with his back to the defense at his own 10-yard line. Takes it out to the 15, does not get to the 20-yard line. Gets gang tackled at the 18. A big stop there on the kick coverage for Morningside. Kansas Wesleyan will start at their own 18. Let's check in with the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, down on the sideline. Jonathan, what do you got for us?
Well, Daniel, you can certainly feel the frustration that Kansas Wesleyan has here in the early going of this game. 21-0 on the scoreboard would suggest that, but there's been a couple of things. Kansas Wesleyan defensively kind of trying to get on each other a little bit on the defensive side to try to keep themselves pumped up, and that sideline was mighty frustrated after the non-fumble call.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for that update. Rolling left. This is Randall taking a deep shot back over the middle. And overthrows the intended target over there on the left seam. Aaron Jenkins, an incomplete. Lionel Boyd Jr. on the coverage once again. Jenkins wanted a hold on Boyd, didn't get it. It's 2nd and 10. With 1:18 to play in the first quarter, it is second-ranked Morningside 21, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 0 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Here's Isaiah Randall lining up in the pistol with a receiver on either side. Randall, chest high snap, throws right sideline. That screen pass caught by Jenkins, and he's shoved out of bounds at the 26-yard line by Kajon Green. They gave him all the way to the 27. That's a gain of 9. Brings up 3rd and 1.
Well, there's an old adage in offensive football, and that is you just got to take what the defense is giving you. And right now, they're giving them 5-7-yard cushions, and they got to be able to throw something quick and take advantage of that.
You want to get your quarterback into a rhythm as well. And
look at the far side of the field. He's 7 yards off the receiver on 3rd and 1.
And they run it up the middle and breaking free for a first down across the 30 to the 31. That is Nick Alsman. The sophomore from Belleville, Kansas, has a 4-yard gain when he needed 1, and it's 1st and 10 for the Coyotes.
Well, I said it when it was 14-0 that it's almost a must score, and I'd say this is a must score. And
with how Morningside's offense is running, 3 touchdowns on 3 drives, I would second that as well. Here's a pistol set for Randall, 2 receivers right, chest high snap. Randall rolls out to his right. Now he's going to take off right sideline, gets across the 35, and he sidesteps a defender out of bounds at the 38-yard line. That's a pickup of 7 there on the scramble by Randall. It's 2nd and 3.
You know, it looks like he's fairly mobile and fairly athletic, and it really surprises me that when they go empty sets and there's no linebacker in the box, they don't have some type of run game for him at that point.
Yeah, it's interesting. He does, you said, he does look like a mobile quarterback. Only 1 rushing touchdown on the year. Here's a handoff right side. Alsman has first down yardage, powering his way from the 40 to the 45-yard line. That's a gain of 7. It's 1st down and 10 Kansas Wesleyan, but we'll pick up this set of downs in the next quarter. 15 minutes completed, and Morningside has itself a big lead, 21-0 on 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard. Second quarter of action comes up when we return to Elwood Olson Stadium. We're back in 1 minute with more Mustang football on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. Back to start the second quarter as Isaiah Randall takes a shot over the left numbers, and a great basket catch by Aaron Jenkins across the 30 to the Mustang 23-yard line. A big pickup of 32 and a Coyote first down as they get down to the red zone.
If you go back to that pre-snap, Wesleyan put 3 receivers into the boundary, and one of 2 things is going to happen when they do that. Either 1, they're going to motion out, or 2, they're going to throw to the single receiver to the wide side of the field, and that's just what they did.
Daniel Versteg, Bob Goodvin with you. Jonathan Covert on the sideline starting the second quarter. Here's a handoff up the middle. Nick Alsman gets across the 20 to the 19-yard line. A gain of 4 for Alsman brings up 2nd and 6. Our score, second-ranked Morningside 21, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 0 on the People's Bank scoreboard early in quarter 2. Kansas Wesleyan now with a 2nd and 6 for the Mustang 19-yard line. Their first trip into the red zone, and well, the first trip, realistically, first trip down into Morningside territory. They got to midfield, but that's about it. Trying the end around, Drayvon Macon gets brought down for a loss. Back at the 21-yard line, Isaac Pingle on there on the stop, and it'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Mustang 21.
Well, whenever you run outside on Morningside, you got to block those outside linebackers because they're out there by nature and by scheme. And if you don't get a hat on them, you got numbers problems.
Now it's 3rd and 9. Kansas Wesleyan has not done good on third downs here today. The Coyotes only 1 for 3 on their third down conversions.
There's your empty box again.
3 right, 2 left. 4-man Mustang rush, and they get to Grandel, but he rolls out to his right with a football, just chucks it up the field, and the catch is made across the 12 by Aaron Jenkins. They rule him down at the 11. A gain of 10 on a little shovel to Jenkins at the 12, and it's 1st down and 10, Kansas Wesleyan.
That's an NAIA version of Patrick Mahomes right there. I mean, he scrambles and then throws the ball across his body back into the middle of the field, and
there's a little backhand shovel there too.
Yeah. This guy's got some mobility to him, and you know, think of their empty sets when there's no back in the backfield. There's no linebackers left in the box. I'm really surprised they don't have some type of run game for him at that point.
1st and 10 from the Mustang 11. Out of the pistol, Randall pump fakes, now throws toward the end zone and overthrows Stevie Williams at incomplete, who is jostling for position with Jamal Jones on the left sideline. Incompletion brings up 2nd and 10.
That was some type of coverage scheme. In other words, meaning if they do this, I'm going to do this, and if they do this, I'm going to do that, and the two weren't on the same page there.
12:49 left in the half, 21-zip Mustangs. A pistol set for Randall.
You got single coverage on the wide side of the field with no safety help, right?
Yeah.
They gotta somehow take advantage of that.
Jamal Jones is there all alone on Stevie Williams. Nobody within 10 yards of him. Now they motion Jenkins over there a little bit. Bessie shields to the left side now. Here's a pistol set handoff up the middle, Nick Alsman, and he gets stopped for only a gain of 1 to the 10-yard line. It's 3rd down and 9 upcoming for the Coyotes.
Right now what Wesleyan's doing is when they allow Jamal Jones to press their best receiver and take him out of the game, they're letting one guy take your best player away, and then the math just doesn't add up for the rest of your offense when you do that.
Randall out of the pistol. 2 receivers on either side. Motions Alsman out of the backfield. Randall to throw. Faces pressure. Keeps himself up the middle. Has some green to the 5. Jukes a defender. Dives head first. Lost the football into the end zone, but they call touchdown. Isaiah Randall broke the plane with the football, and the Coyotes have their first score of the afternoon as they cut the deficit to 21-6 in favor of the Mustangs on the People's Bank scoreboard.
And that's what we've talked about. That time they motioned the back out of there to get to an empty set, and the linebacker widened with him, and there's just nobody left in the box. And that wasn't a design run. It was just a scramble. But you see that the kid, he's got some athleticism to him.
Only the 2nd rushing touchdown of the season for Isaiah Randall. And now the point after try upcoming from Aaron Main off the hold of the punter, Miguel Mion. Snap in the spot. The kick, right-footed end over end, sails through the uprights. It is good. 12:09 to play in the first half. Kansas Wesleyan gets on the scoreboard with a 10-yard rushing touchdown from Isaiah Randall. It's 21-7 Mustangs on the People's Bank scoreboard. We'll take a 30-second break. Back with more Mustang football after this on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteeg, Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Covert joins us on the sideline, and we'll get a few words in here from Jonathan in just a moment. 12:09 to play in the first half. Our score, 2nd-ranked Morningside 21, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. In just a minute, we'll take a look at the NAIA Football Championship Series scoreboard as well. We'll try and get you up to date on all those contests. We normally only do that at halftime, but with the playoffs, we'll give you a little bit of an earlier check on that. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Here's a high pooch kick, and this is fumbled on the fair catch. It's a loose ball on the turf, and we'll await who's got it at the 21-yard line. Jake Towdy was backing up there, and they're going to say Morningside did recover the football at the 21. So the fair catch, though, inside the 25. The recovery, though, is going to negate that fair catch inside the 25 rule to be 1st and 10 of the 21. Let's check in with the 3rd member of our crew. Jonathan Covert's down on the sideline for us. Jonathan, What are you seeing down there?
Well, Daniel, after that last drive, Morningside defensively frustrated. Coach Jacobson telling guys to do their assignments, and Boyd Jr., the safety for Morningside, telling everybody to make sure they have the right gaps as well. Morningside definitely frustrated after that touchdown.
Well, thank you very much, Jonathan. There's a screen pass out to the right sideline. Schwagert has a first down up to the 34, and that's something, talking about Lonnell Boyd Jr., that Coach Ryan always talks about, Bob. He is kind of turned into one of the quarterbacks of the defense, or another coach out there, it seems like, and that's impressive from a transfer who just joined this season.
Well, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, here's Dallin checking the gun to left, and he gives it up the middle. It's Ryan Cole. Oh, he gets brought down for a big loss at the 31. Loss of 3. It's 2nd and 13. Go ahead now, Bob.
Well, when you have your safeties talking to your defensive line about gap responsibility, that really tells me he's an intelligent football player.
Yeah, lots of veteran presence there, even though he is a transfer, so he's not a veteran necessarily with Morningside, but he is a good football mind back there at the safety position. Following the loss by Cole, it's 2nd and 13. Here's a play-action pass. Dallin over the left. Siemens caught by Juergensmeyer at the 43 and gets across the 45 for a first down on a gain of 14 to move the chains for Morningside.
Well, that's Juergensmeyer lining up in the slot and then running what we would call a hunt route, and just finding the open window in the zone. And if you're going to play nothing but zone against Morningside, they'll find windows on you.
1st and 10 from the Mustang 45. Dallin out of the gun, a low snap, steps up, throws right sideline, leaping attempt by Juergensmeyer, passing complete. Sean Browder, the weak side safety on the coverage, and it's 2nd and 10.
That time they took Juergensmeyer from the slot and ran him on a deep out, and there you saw the wind affect that ball. That ball sailed on him.
Take a look at some of the scores around the NAIA Football Championship Series. Just getting started the second quarter. Marion gets into the end zone in Orange City, leads Northwestern 9-6. Here's a screen pass right sideline. Schwagert up the numbers to the 50, and he gets tackled and stopped to forward progress at the Kansas Wesleyan 49, so a gain of 6 brings up 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, you're seeing a steady diet of the quick screen stuff outside, and that's because Wesleyan's giving them cushion, and Morningside's they throw a myriad of screens to start with, and if you're going to give them cushion, they're going to take the quick game and screen game all day long on you.
3rd down and 4. Morningside of the Kansas Wesleyan 49-yard line. 5 receivers. Dallin with an empty backfield. 10-12 to play in the half. 21-7 Mustangs. Screen pass or short pass left side caught by Schwagert. Stumbles for a moment and gets across the marker to the Kansas Wesleyan 42. That's a gain of 7. It's 1st and 10.
Again, they gave him cushion, and they just run simple little hitch routes, and they're going to do that all day until they take it away.
We took a look at the score in Orange City. Marion just tacked on a point after try to leads Northwestern 10-6. Grandview's up on Concordia 10-7 in the second quarter, and Lindsey Wilson leads Kaiser 2-0. 3.5 minutes gone in the first quarter. Interesting score there in the quarterfinals. It's 21-7 here, Morningside.
2-run home run in the bottom of the first.
Exactly. We have a timeout here before this 1st and 10 play at the Kansas Wesleyan 42-yard line. Timeout on the field called by Coach Ryan. We'll take one as well. Quick timeout. We're back in 30 seconds. It's Mustang football on Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteeg, Bob Goodvin up in the Irving and Carolyn Jensen press box. Jonathan Covert joining us on the sideline. Probably the two of us up here experiencing a much different temperature than Mr. Covert down there on the sideline. We're getting baked with the sun through the window. He's enjoying the breeze and the cold down there for us. Here's 1st and 10 of the Coyote 42. Dallin to air it out left sideline. Leaping grab. Johnson makes the catch inside the 20 and gets run out of bounds in the red zone of the Coyote 16-yard line. It's a 26-yard gain. It's 1st and 10.
You know, you think back to that 3-4 game stretch where Austin Johnson was hurt and wasn't playing, and remember we made comments about how they kind of miss another receiver right now.
Right.
And Austin Johnson's that guy. He's a perfect complement to Jurgismeyer.
Yeah, he makes so many great plays. He's got 2 touchdowns today, over 100 yards receiving. 3 receivers line up to the right, tight end to the left of Dolenjek at the Coyote 16. Play action fake, over the middle. The pass is caught in the chest of Reed Jurgensmeyer into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Great ball from Joe. A 16-yard score, and the Mustang lead is extended to 27-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard.
Well, I know we have the advantage of seeing Morningside week in, week out, but you cannot play Reed Jurgensmeyer man-to-man without some type of safety help. He's too big, he's too fast and athletic. He's just a matchup nightmare.
He is. And it's now 70 career touchdown receptions for Reed Jurgensmeyer. Second all-time, the second Mustang to hit 70 career touchdowns. And Chase Carter, point after try is good. 28-7 Morningside on the People's Bank scoreboard. 9 minutes to play in the half. We're back in 30 seconds. Coyotes will get the kickoff when we return to Elwood Olson Stadium on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg, Bob Goodman with you up in the booth. Jonathan Covert's down on the sideline for us. 9 minutes to play until halftime. And it is second-ranked Morningside leading 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan, 28-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Winner to the NAIA semifinals next week Saturday. Morningside hoping to host another playoff football game before they head to Durham for a national championship opportunity. A kickoff sails out of the end zone for a touchback from Chase Carter. Send it down to the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, roaming the sideline for us. Jonathan, another score. Morningside's offense is showing why they're so dominant.
Yeah, no question about that, Daniel. You guys said it already, but it is worth saying again. Dolenjek and Jurgensmeyer make it look super easy. And speaking of super easy, Chase Carter on that extra point. For those familiar with Elwood Olson Stadium, the extra point landed on the other side of the fence surrounding the track here at the stadium. Compare that to the other side where Carter's kicking it. I'm sure the same amount, but it is just getting eaten up by that northwest wind.
Yeah, absolutely. That kicking game has been thankfully not impacted a whole lot, but we're getting some very impressive looking kicks. Thank you very much, Jonathan. As Isaiah Randall overthrows Aaron Jenkins, an incomplete pass across midfield brings up 2nd and 10 for the Coyotes from their own 25-yard line.
Well, they had hit Jenkins on a similar route earlier in the game. It's just a little post corner route, and before when he caught it, he lined up in a traditional tight end spot. That time he lined up flexed out and ran the post corner, and again you saw the effects of the wind on the ball.
Yeah, Aaron Jenkins is listed as the backup tight end on the 2 deep. Here's a handoff up the middle. It's Nick Alsman. Found a little bit of a hole, but ran right into the waiting arms of Tyler Wingert at the 28-yard line. Picks up 3 yards there for Alsman, and it's 3rd down, about 7.
Well, I'll say for the 3rd straight drive, this is another must-score situation because Wesleyan has shown no ability to even slow the Morningside offense down at this point.
And you can hear that the Mustang fans want their team to make a stop here. It's 3rd down and 7 from the Coyote 28. 2 receivers on either side. Randall drops to throw. Pass over the middle. It's caught by Jenkins across the 35. Lost the football at the 40. Morningside's got it. Jamal Jones picks up the fumble. K. John Green forced it out. Morningside takes over at the Coyote 40-yard line with 1st and 10.
Well, Wesleyan motions the running back out of the backfield. That takes the middle linebacker out of the box, and they run a little slant route to the tight end right in the vacated spot of the linebacker. And perfect play, and it's just if you're going to beat Morningside, you can't make plays like that. I mean it's a perfect call, perfect execution, and he drops the ball. I mean
Well, we've heard Coach Ryan say for the last couple of weeks he's wanted to see his defense be able to force more turnovers. They were able to pick off a pass last week against Ottawa. They forced a fumble this week, and now Coach Ryan wants to call a timeout and talk things over. We'll keep it here ahead of this first down and 10. And, Bob, turnovers are such a big part of the game. And, yeah, I guess if you wanted to knock one thing on Morningside's defense in the regular season, they had not been able to force a whole lot of turnovers throughout the year. They were just simply winning the ball game without doing that. But you see Morningside, they pick off a great quarterback in McCullough last week. They force a fumble here. It seems like the messaging from Coach Ryan in needing to be able to force these turnovers has been taken to heart by the Mustang defense.
Well, I think you're right, and I'm sure that's something they practice and talk a lot about. But, I'll flip it around and say that you can't fumble that ball. I mean, it's the perfect call in the perfect scenario, and you got the first down. And I'm going to blame the offensive execution more than I give the defense credit. That's what I'm going to say there. You get frustrated offensively when that happens.
Right. 8:09 to play in the first half. Morningside with 1st and 10 of the Coyote 40-yard line. 2 receivers left, 1 right. A bell high snap. Dalenchuk throws a screen wide of Austin Johnson and incomplete. It looked like that one got caught up in the wind a little bit potentially. It'll be 2nd and 10.
And they just motion to that stack formation, and again they don't press the stack, and thus that they're going to throw that screen out there all day. And like I said, you're going to get 5-10 yards all the time until they press that coverage.
2nd and 10 from the Coyote 40-yard line. Dalenchuk, a receiver on either side. And Juergensmeyer close to the left side. They throw it to Reed at the 35-yard line. Takes it outside the hash across the 30. And tackled forward to the 29-yard line. A gain of 11 there for Reed Juergensmeyer. It's 1st and 10. 7:53 and counting to play in the half. Coming up at halftime, we'll break down the first half of action for you. Take a look at stats, and we'll also take a look at scores around the NAIA Football Championship Series. All coming up at halftime. 1st and 10 of the Coyote 29-yard line. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Dalenchuk with Cole in the backfield. The Coyotes rush 4. Throws an out route right side. Dropped by Reed Juergensmeyer at the 22-yard line. A low pass. It was tough to handle anyway. The incompletion brings up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Morningside just ran a fade speed out there with the number 1 going vertical, running the fade, and number 2 running the speed on. Boy, you don't see Reed Juergensmeyer drop too many passes.
No, that's definitely a rarity. We've gotten used to him hauling those passes in. Afternoon in and afternoon out, contest after contest. Here's 2nd down and 10 for the Mustangs from the Coyote 29-yard line. 2 receivers on either side. Juergensmeyer motions toward the slot. Dalenchuk 3-step drop, dumps it off. There's a screen pass. It's Cole up the right seam, 25-20. Lowers his shoulder, broke a tackle, 15. Spin move to the 10 to the 5, and scampers into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Ryan Cole into the end zone on a 29-yard screen pass with an absolute beast of a broken tackle, and Morningside leads 34-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard.
Yeah, just a little slip screen to the running back, and very good play and very well executed.
How about that broken tackle too? He just took that hit and stayed on his feet. Now the point after from Chase Carter to make it a 28-point ball game. Snap and hold. The right-footed end-over-end kick through the uprights. It's good from Chase Carter. 35-7. Morningside up on Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard with 7:23 to play in the first half. We will take a break. We'll come back. More Mustang football after this 30-second timeout. You're listening to the Mustangs on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg, Bob Goodvin with you up in the booth. Jonathan Covert joins us on the sideline. We'll get a word in from Jonathan here in just a moment. 2nd-ranked Morningside leads 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 35-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. A 4-play, 40-yard drive ends in a 29-yard touchdown pass from Joe Dolencheck to Ryan Cole. And Morningside's lead is 28 as Chase Carter sends a high right-footed end-over-end kick. That one bounced at the 1 and rolls into the end zone for a touchback. Coyotes get the ball. 1st and 10 of their own 25-yard line. Down to the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, roaming the sideline for us. Jonathan, what do you got for us down there?
Well, Daniel, you talked about it on the NAIA, how there are 3 Iowa teams that are hosting. It's a pretty big weekend for Iowa football throughout. UNI plays in their FCS game at Eastern Washington, and a level that I'm sure is not always forgotten but might be lost in the shuffle is Division III, as number 8 Central plays host to number 6 Wheaton of Illinois, the alma mater of head coach Steve Ryan.
Oh, absolutely. There you go with the impressive nugget there. Thank you very much, Jonathan, as Aaron Jenkins carries it around the left side of the 28-yard line, picks up 3 at 2nd and 7. I mean, it can't be lost. I mean, obviously everybody, when they think of Iowa college football, they think of Iowa and Iowa State, but you look down the ranks there, Bob, and you see 3 of the 4 semifinals are being played in Iowa here in the NAIA. UNI made the playoffs. Central, as he talked about, it is quite the college football state. Out of the pistol, Randall to throw. Rolls out to his right, steps up, takes a shot deep over the middle. Found Drayvon Macon with a great diving catch across the 30. And he's down at the Mustang 31-yard line. An excellent grab by Macon as he picks up a big gain of 42 and a Coyote first down.
Well, that's the kind of plays you got to make, and that you're right. That's a great catch by him. And, you know, Wesleyan, when they run the wideouts vertical, they do have some guys open.
Randall out of the pistol, receiver on either side. Turns to his right, gives it to Nick Alsman up the middle, and Alsman is able to dive forward for a yard to the 29 of Morningside. It'll be 2nd down and 9. 6:18 to play before halftime. 35-7 Morningside up on the People's Bank scoreboard. Our halftime coverage will consist of scores around the NAIA Football Championship Series, a stat breakdown of the first half, and we'll see if Jonathan can get a few comments from Coach Ryan, and he'll have a report on that coming up at halftime as well. See what the Mustangs are thinking heading into the locker room. Dropping back to throw, rolling out left. Randall being chased by Keller. Couldn't get away from him. Now Randall throws it away. Is he down on a sack at midfield? What is our ruling here?
Well, if he's not down, it should be grounding because the ball didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nowhere close. Randall was 20 yards back behind the line of scrimmage and only got that thing to the 35. It's going to be intentional grounding, and so this will still be a big loss for the Coyotes. They're going to end up losing 20 yards and a down as Randall did not get that ball back to the line of scrimmage. It's intentional grounding. It's going to be 3rd down and 30, back to the 50-yard line for Kansas Wesleyan. Yeah, that's a lose-lose situation there, Bob, especially when you roll yourself all the way back there 20 yards.
Yeah, you don't have too many plays in your playbook right now for 3rd and 30.
Except for throw the ball far, maybe. Ball at the 50-yard line, 5:49 left in the first half. Pistol set, 2 receivers either side. Randall dumps it off into the flats. It's Alsman who gets stopped at the line of scrimmage. Tyler Wingert makes a big hit at the 50-yard line. It's 4th down and 30. Here comes the Coyote punt team.
Well, that's exactly the same play that Morningside scored on. They run a little slip screen to the running back, and the difference is Morningside got the linebackers blocked. That time they didn't block the middle linebacker, and he makes the play. If they block the middle linebacker, they're not going to get the first down, but they're going to make 4th down manageable probably.
So, punting situation here. Schweigert standing at his own 20-yard line. The Coyotes kick into the wind. A good line drive spiral, though, able to break through the wind and get out of bounds on the right sideline. And they mark that one down right at the 20-yard line. So 1st and 10 there on a 30-yard punt off the right foot of Miguel Millan. Morningside starts 1st and 10 of their own 20. 5:05 to play in the first half. 2nd-ranked Morningside 35, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Of course, the semifinal contest next week Saturday. Morningside with a big lead right now. Nothing is ever guaranteed, but we'll be paying attention to how things are going across the country and get you a score update of all those contests coming up at halftime. 3 receivers bunched to the right, 1 left. They're going to throw toward the single receiver left sideline, and Dolencheck overthrows Zach Norton by just a couple of yards and incomplete. It's 2nd and 10.
And that's exactly what I've been talking about with Wesleyan. That time Morningside came out in a 3-by-1 set, and Wesleyan will press the single receiver. They won't press two-receiver set, but they'll press a single receiver. And Morningside said, if you're going to do that, we got to take a shot at it. And they're doing it again right here.
Pistol set, Dolenchek with a give up the middle. Ryan Cole spins off one tackler only to run into another. A loss and actually no gain. They got him down to forward progress at the 20-yard line. It's Devontae Gabriel on the stop again. He's been all over the place. It's 3rd down and 10 for Morningside.
I think Wesleyan can say we can stop the run with our front four and our middle linebackers. So let's take our outside linebackers and get them involved heavily in the run game, or in the passing game, I mean.
Yeah, 9 carries, 7 rushing yards for the Mustangs compared to 320 passing. Here's 3rd and 10 of the 20-yard line. Pass over the middle, caught by Tuifua across the 25. But he stood up short of the first down marker on 3rd and 10. They got him to the 28. So a gain of 8 brings up 4th and 2. But Morningside will bring the punting unit out.
And that's what I mean. They drop the linebackers in depth to take away the deep route, and then they hit Tuifua on a little wide drag or wide delay route, and the linebackers come up and make the play. I mean, that's good play by Wesleyan right there.
And it forces Morningside to punt for the first time today. Colton Earl back out there, the senior with only 20 punts on the season to this point. 3:47 to play in the half. Takes a low snap, got the right-footed end-over-end kick. That one wobbles and sails, bounced inside the 30, takes a Mustang roll, but it is fielded on the hop by Stevie Williams at the 20. Dances around 3 defenders and gets brought down to the 21-yard line. That's a great kick there by Earlbeck. 1st and 10 for the Coyotes from their own 21. To your point earlier, Bob, the stats, Morningside running the football versus passing the football are just ridiculous right now. They've ran the ball 9 times for a total of 7 yards. That's 0.8 of a yard a carry. Joe Dolenchek is 21 of 30 passing for 328 passing yards. I mean, yeah, if Kansas Wesleyan can figure out how to stop the pass, they'll be in a good spot defensively.
Well, I think what you saw that last series is they took a defensive lineman out and went to their nickel package, and they're still able to stop the run with their middle 5 guys.
3:34 to play in the half. Kansas Wesleyan coming out with their first possession off of the stop. Here's a handoff around the left side. Nick Alsman keeps his footing across the 24, 25. They're dragging the pile, and they rule him down to forward progress at the 28-yard line. That's an 8-yard carry on 1st down. It's 2nd and 2.
Well, Wesleyan's had a little bit of success running the football. I mean, they're gaining positive yards. They're staying ahead of the chains. They just can't execute on certain times of the game, and it's just killing them right now.
17 carries, 42 yards rushing for a little over 2 yards a carry, but that is a lot better than what Morningside's doing to this point. Morningside has not even gotten a first down on the ground yet. Here's a sweeper on the right side. Aaron Jenkins looking to throw, and he throws it right sideline out of bounds. They're going to have to drop a flag for intentional grounding there as well. There it is. An intentional grounding back inside the 10. Jalen Portis chasing down Aaron Jenkins, who was trying to throw on the toss. And this will be a big loss for the Coyotes, back to the 6. Wow. 3rd down and a mile now. What a tough break for Kansas Wesleyan. You go from 2nd and 2 at your own 28-yard line to losing 22 yards and now staring 3rd down and 24 in the face from your own 6.
I would like to have the conversation with the ref. When does being hit not affect the throw, and thus how can it be grounding? You know what I mean? Because he was hit and going to the ground when he was throwing the ball. So why doesn't that affect the throw? And
right.
I mean, there was nobody there, and the ball didn't get close to the line of scrimmage. But
and that was the same thing that happened with Randall on that other intentional grounding. Here's 3rd and 24. Give up the middle. Nick Alsman. It's across the 10 toward the right sideline. Lost the football at the 15, but they're going to rule him down at the 15-yard line. A gain of 9 there for Alsman. 4th and 15, and here comes the Kansas Wesleyan punt team.
Well, this game is soon to be 42-7.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to punt into the wind here, so you're going to get the ball probably in Wesleyan territory, if not deep in Wesleyan territory.
Right. With 2:33 and counting left in the first half. So the Coyotes can take this down a little bit here and force Morningside to use less of the clock. It'll be Miguel Mion back to punch. Schwagert standing at the Coyote 47, ready to field this one. Let's see if Mion can get a good spiral off it. He does. That's a great kick into the wind, and Schwagert fields it from his own 43. He turns around the right side to the 45, flag on the play across midfield. Schwagert to the 45 and tackled at the Coyote 43. So this one's going to be coming back. I have a good hunch about that. Morningside will probably start around their own 37-yard line with first down and 10.
Yeah, that's going to end up being about a 20-yard penalty.
Yeah, from where he got stopped. There's another flag on that far side, too. So, well, they'll decline the one farther upfield, I would imagine. I assume they're both holding or a block in the back or something along the lines there. But, yeah, there's 2 flags at one spot and 1 flag at the other spot of the foul with 2:04 to play in the half. So they'll figure this out. Again, do want to remind you, coming up at the halftime break, take a look at, we'll see what the hold is, or the penalty first. Got holding on Morningside. That one's declined. That one's the one upfield, I imagine. A blindside block on Morningside. And so that's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the blindside block, and they're going to say, yeah, the holding was downfield. The blindside block was back at their own 47. So Morningside's actually going to get this at their own 32 as it was a personal foul call.
That was a 25-yard penalty.
Yeah, 25, yeah.
I mean, in net yards lost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the return got all the way up to the Coyote 43 or so. That's 25 yards for sure. Here's first and 10, though, for Morningside at their own 32. A handoff up the middle. It's Ryan Cole. And he's able to get some good yardage out across the 35, breaking tackles up to the 36. Gain of 4 there for Ryan Cole. It's 2nd and 6. Morningside with 1:50 left in the half. Our halftime coverage will bring you scores around the NAIA stats, and we'll see if we can get a hold of a report from Coach Ryan and Jonathan Covert as Austin Johnson takes the screen across the 35 to the 40-yard line. Picks up 4 yards. It's 3rd down and 2.
There's not too many times in a football game when you're down by 35 points and you switch your defense to a nickel defense. And that just not common sense doesn't say that, but reality does here because Morningside's having a hard time running the football on them.
3 receivers bunched to the right, 1 left. Dolanchek with an empty backfield. Motions Johnson into the backfield off his right hip. Tuifua tight end left. Dolanchek to throw. Right sideline caught by Johnson. Wide open to the 40, 45, 50 into Coyote territory, and he runs it out of bounds at the Kansas Wesleyan 45-yard line. 15 yards and a first down for Morningside. Actually 14 up to the 46.
That's just too easy, Daniel. It's just too easy. He's so wide open. I mean,
yeah, he could have walked the 10 yards he needed for a first there. It's now 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the Coyote 46. 3 receivers bunched to the left, 1 right. Dolanchek to throw. 3-man Coyote rush. Steps up in a great pocket. Throws deep over the left side to Norton. Pass is overthrown and incomplete. There's a flag downfield. Sean Browder, the safety, covering Zach Norton, and I don't think we're getting a defensive penalty here.
Well, this is going to be an interesting penalty because if they call pass interference, you can make a very strong argument that ball is not catchable.
Right.
That ball's 20 yards over his head. Yeah.
And they do get the Coyotes for it.
You got to struggle with that call.
Yeah.
I mean, that ball's 20 yards overthrown. How can it be not a catchable ball?
Right.
I mean, now, if you're going to call holding, that's a different scenario. But
yeah, but pass interference requires that to be the prerequisite there. So the 15-yard penalty moves the Mustangs up to the Coyote 31. And it'll be first down and 10 for Morningside with 1:27 to play before halftime. 2 receivers line up stacked to the left.
Now they're pressing the stack, though, yep.
There you go. That's what you've been looking for there, Bob, is a tight end motions left. Now back to the right side. Dolanchek give up the middle to Cole. Cole bounced off a tackler, keeps his feet moving across the 30, and tackled forward to the 25. A gain of 6, and it's 2nd and 4.
I think Coach Ryan gave Cole the ultimate compliment as a football player. He said he's just a tough kid. And when you say that, there aren't too many bad, tough football players,
right.
you know. And so
Yeah, coming from Coach Ryan about a true freshman in Ryan Cole, yeah, that's a high compliment. Around the left side, Cole gets tackled forward across the 21 to the 19-yard line. 6 yards there for Cole. It's a first down into the red zone. That was Coach Ryan's compliment of Ryan Cole on our pregame coverage, our Drilling Pharmacy pregame interview with Coach Ryan. Receiver on either side of Dalenchek. Cole in the backfield, gives it to Cole straight up the middle. Now around the left side, he gets tackled at the 17 to the 16, picks up 3 yards. It's 2nd and 7. Morningside up 35-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Clock at 30 seconds. That clock is running here with 2 receivers right, none left. Morningside only 1 timeout in the half. Dalenchek to chest high snap, play action fake, looking to throw, rolls out to his right. Oh, there's a hold on the right tackle, Behrens. There is a flag, though, from the far sideline. Dalenchek took a hit after letting it go. Pass is incomplete, overthrowing the back of the end zone. There's a lot to unpack here. I'm with the defensive end, Cole Parker. Hunter Behrens was hanging on to him for dear life.
They're going to get an illegal man downfield, so my guess is a receiver got in the wrong formation.
Right. But I also could have gotten a hold. I'm going to single out Hunter Behrens. I mean, that blatant hold. Yeah, they are going to get at least that downfield. They're going to decline the penalty and take the incompletion, so it's going to be 3rd down and 7 of the Coyotes 16 with 15 seconds to play before halftime. Morningside trying to add on a score here before they head into the locker room.
You see a kind of a neat little adjustment right here, and it's the mind games of the football coaches. Wesleyan's in nickel defense, and now Morningside's in 2 tight end personnel. So
3 receivers right after the motion. Dalenchek to throw, steps up, throws right corner for Johnson, and overthrows Austin Johnson. Incomplete. It's 4th down and 7 with 9 seconds left in the half. And a decision for the Mustangs. They are going to kick it, it appears. Try and give Chase Carter a field goal attempt with the wind at his back. And should be about a 33-yarder for Carter. Trying to make him a 9-for-11 field goal kicker this season. Try and put the Mustangs up 31. Give Carter something else other than an extra point to try and do. Here's a 33-yarder off the left hash for Chase Carter. Ladwig's spot. It's a good one. And Carter's kick has plenty of distance. It sails through the uprights. It's good. Our score, 2nd-ranked Morningside 38, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. 4 seconds before half. We'll take a quick 30-second break. Back with more Mustang football after this on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Albert Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg, Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Coverts down on the sideline. 4 seconds to play before half. Morningside 38, Kansas Wesleyan 7. A 33-yard field goal for Chase Carter with 4 seconds left in the half has increased the Mustang lead to 38-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Morningside looking to march on to the semifinals, as it will be Carter to boot this one away, going from right to left. Carter with a line drive, right-footed end-over-end kick. It bounces out of the end zone for a touchback. Coyotes will get 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. Coming up at halftime, a lot of things. We're going to take a look at the first half stats for you, break those down. Bob and I will chit-chat about what we saw in the first 30 minutes. We'll also take a look at the scores around the NAIA Football Championship Series. Some great quarterfinal contests on the docket. And well, you might want to prepare for a GPAC foe in the semifinals next week. That's all I will say. Northwestern's up by 9 heading into the locker room. So we'll take a look at those scores, and we'll have a report from Jonathan Covert. We'll see if he can get a few comments in from Coach Ryan and report back to us on that coming up at halftime. Randall throws a screen over the middle, and this will be the last play of the half as Macon takes it outside the left hash, 35-40 toward the sideline, and well, not much, not getting close to the end zone. Javon Macon gets tackled at the 47, picks up 22, but not necessarily enough. So a big gain there, and that'll be the end of the first half of the contest. Our score heading into the locker room, second-ranked Morningside 38, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. When we come back, our halftime coverage, again, scores around the country, our stats, and we'll have a look at how things are going around the country. Jonathan will report with what he gets back from Coach Ryan coming up at halftime as well. We'll take a break. We're back in 4 minutes. Our halftime coverage right here on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. And we're welcoming back to our halftime coverage from Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Verstegen, Bob Goodman up in the booth. Jonathan Covert is down on the sideline for us. We'll check in with Jonathan here in just a moment, see what he was able to glean information-wise from Coach Steve Ryan as he went into the locker. Our score, second-ranked Morningside 38, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7. Our score on the People's Bank scoreboard. Morningside led 21-0 at the end of the first quarter, allowed Kansas Wesleyan a touchdown to start the second quarter. But then Morningside has rattled off 17 unanswered points. Since then, the Mustangs with 372 yards of total offense. That is 26 rushing and 346 yards passing. Some of the other numbers here, Morningside's only punted the ball once. They've been penalized twice for 20 yards officially. You talked about that punt being more like a 25-yard penalty, but statistically goes as a 15-yard penalty. Morningside was 16 minutes of time of possession. The Mustangs 6 of 9 on their third down conversions, 1 for 1 on fourth downs, and then a red zone efficiency of 3 for 3. For Kansas Wesleyan, their total offensive output, 177 yards, 31 rushing, 146 passing. 3 punts for the Coyotes so far. They fumbled twice, lost the ball once on those fumbles, and have been penalized 3 times for 15 yards. They are 3 for 8 on third downs, 0 for 1 on fourth downs, and 1 for 1 in their only red zone trip scoring the football. Total, the individual numbers here for Morningside. Right now, Joe Dolenchek is 23 of 34 passing for 346 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. And he has now passed Ryan Kasdorf for second all-time in program history in career passing touchdowns, now at 125 career passing touchdowns, second all-time. He's also the second Mustang quarterback in program history to pass for 12,000 career passing yards in his career. He's well over 12,000 now at about 12,200. So good milestones there for Joe Dolenchek. Running the football, well, goodness, it's been a struggle here for the Mustangs without Anthony Sims on the field due to an injury. Ryan Cole has stepped up. He's got 11 carries for 25 yards, and he does have a rushing touchdown. Receiving the football, Zach Norton, 3 catches, 54 yards. Austin Johnson having himself a day, 7 catches, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ryan Cole with a 29-yard touchdown reception. Reed Juergensmeyer, 6 catches, 66 yards, a touchdown. Reed becomes now the second Mustang wide receiver in program history with 70 career receiving touchdowns. He's 3 away from tying Connor Niles, the program and NAIA football record there for receiving touchdowns in a career. Chase Carter's 5 for 5 on point afters, a 33-yard field goal make, 1 punt for 52 yards for Colton Earlbeck. And defensively, the Mustangs, they got a forced fumble in there from Kajon Green. It was recovered by Jamal Jones. You have a sack in there for 22 yards attributed to Jalen Portis, and a sack for 21 yards attributed to Zach Keller. Both of those were intentional grounding penalties. Tyler Wingard has 7 tackles, and you have 1 tackle for loss for Isaac Pingle. A couple of pass breakups there for Lonell Boyd Jr. For Kansas Wesleyan offensively, the quarterback Isaiah Randall, 10 of 17, 146 yards passing. Running the football, Randall, 3 carries, minus 5 yards. Those get adjusted with sacks. A rushing touchdown there for Randall. Nick Alsman has 8 carries, 38 yards. C.J. Fluker, 3 carries for 16 yards. Receiving the football, Aaron Jenkins, the favorite target, 6 catches, 78 yards. Drayvon Macon, 2 catches, 63 yards. Aaron Main, a point after try, good. Defensive numbers here. Leading tackler Devontae Gabriel and Julian Uriosti with 6 tackles apiece. No tackles for loss, no sacks, no other stats like that. That's the first half numbers. 38-7, Morningside leading Kansas Wesleyan. First half here, Bob. Morningside running the football has struggled, but the passing game has done its fair share right now. What kind of things stand out when you look at the first half of this contest?
Well, it's obvious that Morningside misses Sims in the run game.
Yes.
That's very obvious right now. But two, it's also obvious that they can do whatever they want in the passing game. I mean, that we talk about schematically how good Morningside is, but just look and see how many times guys are wide open.
Yep.
I mean, they threw the speed out to Reed Juergensmeyer once, and there's nobody within 10 yards of him. And then they come back and do the same thing with Austin Johnson, and there's nobody within 10 yards of him. I mean, so you know, the argument in the coaching world is what's more important, schemes, what they call X and O's, or players, which they call Jimmys and Joes. And, you know, the argument is 50-50. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, when you watch Morningside, they are so schematically good offensively. I mean, I don't have a big enough vocabulary without cussing to say something about it. I mean, that's –
Well, I appreciate you not dipping into that vocabulary, Bob. But you know, it is intriguing because, you know, being around this program, you get asked a number of times, well, how is Morningside able to do it year in and year out? You know, they graduate Connor Niles in 2018 and Trent Solzma. They start a sophomore in there and Joe Dolencheck, and Reed's just finally becoming the number one receiver. And they're like, well, Morningside will take a step off. You know, you lose the NAIA Player of the Year. There they go, winning a national championship. They've won 11 consecutive conference titles. And the question is how they do it so well. But from your standpoint, it's just the scheme works so well, you can almost plug and play almost any athlete in there and be successful.
I would say that's very true. You know, I would are these players as good in other programs?
Sure.
You know what I mean by
Sure.
that? And if the answer to that is you don't know, what you're saying then is Morningside's scheme is making them better than what other schemes
Right.
would do. And I think that's very true, you know. And I've said this before, if you're an offensive coach in high school football or college football and you don't come here to try to learn what they're doing,
Yep.
I think you're foolish. I
Yep.
mean, that's
I mean, you know, you could say, well, hey, we don't have Division I college football around here unless you go to USD or Brookings, but or down to Lincoln. But I mean, you really don't need Division I college football to learn from one of the best college football coaching staffs and schemes. You're right here in Sioux City.
right. And that's, you know, you don't have to be in Iowa City to understand college football.
Right.
And I'm telling you, these guys here understand college football. They understand offensive football. I mean, it's just totally amazing. And you know, when teams play man, how quick they are to
Right.
find the matchup. You know what I mean? And you can talk to your quarterback all you want about, okay, it's man, you got to find your matchup. But Morningside does. I mean, and they execute it. And if you're sitting in the Kansas Wesleyan locker room right now, the thing I'd say to them is execute.
Yeah.
I mean, you got guys open. You dropped a touchdown pass. You have the perfect play call. You get the first down. You fumble. I mean, just execute. Where, you know, the other thing too is, you know, Wesleyan went to a nickel defense. They sat there and said, we can stop the run, so let's bring in a fifth defensive back and stop the pass. Well, now what Morningside does with Tuafua, and this is the beauty of Tuafua, he can line up as the number one receiver, he can line up number two, number three, and he can put his hand down in a traditional tight end spot. And then they bring Seifert in, and now you're basically in two tight end sets, or at least 21 personnel set against their nickel defense.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's the mind games and the chess games that you play within the game, and that's, again, Morningside executing schematically.
You know, I think the crazy thing to me is you've outlined all these adjustments that Morningside makes. I think the thing that stands out to me about what they do week in and week out is how quick they recognize it and then quickly make that adjustment on the field. It's not just plug and play with their players. It's sometimes plug and play with their schemes, with whatever they see on the field. In a moment's notice, they're getting the information, they're making the changes.
Well, they're also doing that on Mondays and Tuesdays.
Yeah.
I mean, they sit in their coaches' offices and they say, okay, if we do this and they do this, what are we going to do if they do that?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a chess game. So if they take this away, what's our answer? Okay,
Right.
And okay, so they're going to get nickel to stop the run. What do? We get in 21 personnel while they're in nickel. I mean, so it's just little things like that.
If you're Kansas Wesleyan, this is probably a tough thing to try and think about, but you're going to get the ball to start the second half. You're down 31 points. You know your season's riding on the next 30 minutes. I mean, what is the goal? What do you need to see out of your guys right away out of the second half if you're Kansas Wesleyan?
Well, you know, this is the playoffs. It's not the second game of the regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's the second game of the regular season, you say, I want to see improvement. I want to see execution. What you want to see here is you want to see a win.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
So
improving does you nothing when you don't have a game next week.
I think schematically one of the things they can do offensively is get in empty sets and run the ball with their quarterback.
Sure.
I mean, Morningside empties the box. I mean, they take their middle linebacker out of the box,
right.
and the quarterback for Wesleyan has shown to us that he's mobile and he's fairly athletic and he can make plays with his feet. So I think that's one thing they could do. I think defensively, one of the things they got to do is they got to press the receivers and reroute them a little bit and throw off the timing a little bit. I mean,
sure.
So.
Well, it's all of those things coming to a head here as we get closer to the start of the second half. Before we take a look at the scores around the country, let's check in with the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, who's down on the sideline for us. He was able to talk to Coach Ryan heading into the locker room. Jonathan, what kind of things did he tell you on his way to the locker room?
Well, Daniel, you guys have been pretty much talking about it. The things they did well, obviously 7 points on the scoreboard. He said they defended well. The other thing he was impressed with is how Dolanchek's been able to roll with the wind out here. I've said it throughout. You guys have talked about it, but especially when you're going east to west, that's a big difference when throwing the football. And then the big struggle, and quite frankly, maybe the only struggle for Morningside's been the run game. And Coach Ryan and the gang is going to be trying to figure out how to get that fixed in the second half.
Absolutely. That's a big part of their offense that's not been able to get going here this afternoon. Thank you very much, Jonathan, for getting that input from Coach Ryan and what they're looking at here at the halftime break. Yeah, we'll see if they can pick up the running game because, without Anthony Sims, he always talks about it week in and week out. He'd like to run the football better. Well, that might be the number one thing there for Morningside to adjust heading into next week. Let's take a quick 1-minute break. We come back. We're taking a look at the scores around the country. 3 other quarterfinal playoff games taking place. We'll take a look at the scoreboard around the country coming up in 1 minute here on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium up in the Irving and Carolyn Jensen press box. Daniel Versteg, Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Covert's down on the sideline. Our score at halftime here in Sioux City. Second-ranked Morningside, 38. 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan, 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. This is just one of 4 quarterfinal contests around the country. Let's take a look at the scoreboard around the NAIA Football Championship Series. We start in Kentucky, where the number 1 team in the country, Lindsey Wilson, leads 12th-ranked Kaiser of Florida, 26-6 the score, 3:57 left to play in the second quarter. Lindsey Wilson's been able to pick up 215 yards of offense, hold the Seahawks of Kaiser to only 107 yards of offense. Cameron Dukes, the Lindsey Wilson quarterback, has been fantastic. 10 of 16, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. He also has a rushing touchdown in the contest. Joshua Lewis and Damare Van Cleve with receiving touchdowns for the Blue Raiders. And Jerson Jaquez with a receiving touchdown from Shea Spencer for Kaiser. Again, it's 26-6 in favor of Lindsey Wilson. In Des Moines at halftime, 3rd-ranked Grandview leads 8th-ranked Concordia of Michigan 17-10. The Vikings put up 14 second-quarter points, go 6 of 11 on third down conversions for 190 total yards. Johnny Sullivan is 12 of 22 passing, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns in that one. And Bennett Spry and Nate Wilcoxon, the receiving touchdowns for Grandview. Gavin Brooks has a passing touchdown for Concordia. going to Donovan Johnson. The score there, 17-10, Grandview at halftime. And in Orange City, 4th-ranked Northwestern leads 7th-ranked Marion by a score of 19-10. The numbers here for Northwestern in this contest. Passing the football, Tyson Koima's 8 of 16, 125 yards, a touchdown. That touchdown goes to Cade Mosier, and Logan Meyer has a rushing touchdown on his only touch of the contest. And I think Northwestern also gets a field goal in there. And Eli Stater has made a couple of field goals from 25 yards out. They missed a point after earlier in the contest. Marion, their quarterback, Bundalo, is 4 of 9 with an interception, 62 yards, a rushing touchdown for Hubler. And then they have a point after a field goal, 19-yard field goal in the contest. So it's 19-10. Northwestern leads Marion at halftime in Orange City. We're ready to start the second half here and see if Morningside, who has the largest lead of any quarterfinal contest in the NAIA currently, can keep adding on to that lead on our People's Bank scoreboard. Thanks for tuning into our halftime coverage. We're ready to start the second half of action here from Elwood Olson Stadium as Chase Carter has this one teed up at his own 35-yard line. Kansas Wesleyan will look for a good possession here to start the second half, and we'll see if they can get things rolling here offensively. There's a high boot. It's going to sail out of the end zone for a touchback. And so, 1st and 10 upcoming here for the Coyotes. They'll start from their own 25-yard line. So to start the second half, Morningside 38, Kansas Wesleyan 7. And the Coyotes need to execute a little bit better, Bob. That was one thing you talked about in the break, and some execution here and a score, I think, is necessary for them if they want to have a chance yet.
Well, we talk about the adjustments that Morningside can make on the run, in-game adjustments, and I'd really like to see Kansas Wesleyan make an adjustment with their empty personnel.
Handoff up the middle. It's C.J. Fluker. And Fluker gets stopped for no gain of the 25-yard line. Tyler Wingert was in there on the stop. It's 2nd and 10 upcoming for the Coyotes. Trying to get that ground game going, and it was the run defense for the Mustangs last week that they were able to really be proud of, in the fact that they held Ottawa of Arizona to not much. There's a play action rolling out right. Randall stiff arm Schultz to the right sideline and throws that thing well over the head of Stevie Williamson out of bounds. Incomplete. It's 3rd down and 10.
I think they're trying to get the ball to number 0. They had the single coverage they wanted and that they've seen all game, and they're trying to take advantage of it. But the protection didn't hold up long enough for him to run the comeback route. See, here's your empty personnel, right. And there goes the linebacker out of the box.
Yeah, Wingert motions out, so yeah, there's only 4 down linemen in that box. As Morningside jumped but did not get into the neutral zone. Randall lining up in the gun with 3 receivers right, 2 left. Play clock's down to 5.
Look at the adjustment. They put the linebacker back in the box.
Yeah, here comes Wingert on a blitz right up the middle. Gets to Randall and goes down for a sack. Ball came out. Coyotes are on it. Dominic Barrett gets to the sack there on Randall. It's a big loss. It's 4th down and 18.
See, now I'm sure what they had was a pass play set up for man protection because they had no linebacker in the box. So when they got the play from the sideline, Coach Jacobson moves the linebacker back in the box and brings him, and thus there's not enough. Your protection isn't there to pick him up.
So it'll be 4th and 18. Punting unit comes out in Miguel Mion, and a 3 and out here for Kansas Wesleyan. Not the way you wanted to start the second half, down 31 points. It's a good snap, and Mion gets a wobbler toward the left sideline. Did not even get back to midfield before heading out of bounds. It'll be Morningside football from the Coyote 39, 40-yard line. 1st and 10 there for Morningside as they are gifted fantastic field position once again. That's something that Morningside always is able to take advantage of, Bob. They get great field position, and they're able to find the end zone off it.
Well, that's a compliment to their special teams. But I'd like to see the stat on how many 3rd and 15s or longer Wesleyan's had in this game.
Yeah, it's felt like a lot for sure. That's kind of how you can excuse their 3rd down percentage right now. Here's a handoff up the middle. Ryan Cole off of the shotgun snap, and Cole gets stood up at the 36-yard line, only a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
And the first play of the game, for the first time, Wesleyan came out and pressed the number one receiver to a multiple receiver side, and they're going to do it again here. And then all that does is it just disrupts the timing of it. See, now they're pressing everybody.
Two receivers left, one right. Out of the gun, a play action, out route left side, caught by Juergensmeyer, 30, left numbers. And angling toward the sideline, run out of bounds at the 25. That's a gain of 13, or 11, excuse me, and a first down for the Mustangs.
Well, that's a great call, because Wesleyan gave no pre-snap look that they were blitzing the outside linebacker because the safety was off deep, and they still anticipated the blitz, and they ran Juergensmeyer on the speed out, and the safety's way back and can't make the play.
First down and 10 now for the Mustangs from the Coyote 25-yard line. Two receivers to the right and two receivers to the left. Ryan Cole in the backfield as the fifth skill guy. Dalenchek, chest high snap, up the middle to Cole, up the left hash to the 20, left numbers 15, and tackled short of the 10-yard line at the 11. That's a 13-yard gain down to the 12. It's first and 10. And the Coyote middle linebacker, Devontae Gabriel, came up a little slow. And they're going to whistle a timeout as Gabriel is just hobbling around the field. He is going to be asked to come off the field. They're going to bring in Justin Sullivan, the backup middle linebacker, in for Gabriel. What a player Devontae Gabriel is. First team all-conference this year, and the team's leading tackler at 56. 4.5 for loss and a half a sack with a forced fumble in there this year for the Coyote middle linebacker, Devontae Gabriel, Texas college transfer. First down and 10 at the Kansas Wesleyan 12. Two receivers left, one right. One of those receivers is Jack Sievert. And Sievert motions into the backfield now, out of the pistol, handoff up the middle. It's Cole up to the 10 to the 5, broke a tackle, dragging a defender, and is able to inch forward down to the 2-yard line. It's a gain of 10, and it's first down and goal for the Mustangs. They're going to hurry up here. Dalenchek in the pistol. They're going to get too many men on the field, I think. A handoff up the middle to Cole, and he lowers his shoulder and gets into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Ryan Cole in on the ground for the second time this afternoon. Morningside goes up big, 44-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard with 12 minutes to play in the third.
I think Wesleyan had about 13 players on the field. I mean, and the defensive line wasn't set, so the Morningside offensive line just blew them back in the end zone.
Had easily lower leverage, and now the point after try from Chase Carter off the hold of Caden Ladwig. So snap in the spot, point after boot, through the uprights. It's good. 45-7, Morningside up on Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard. 12 minutes left in the third. We're back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Mustang Football on Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg and Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Covert down on the sideline. We'll get a word in here from Jonathan in just a moment. 12 minutes to play in the third quarter. Second-ranked Morningside up 45-7 on Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard. The Mustangs rolling here in the NAIA quarterfinals, something they've done a decent amount of in the last few years. As a high right-footed end-over-end kick sails out of the end zone for a touchback. We go down now to the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, roaming the sideline for us. Jonathan, what kind of things do you have for us?
Well, Daniel, you talk about Morningside being successful, and Kansas Wesleyan is a team that as of late has been successful, talking about a playoff run to the semifinals in 2018 and the quarters in 2019. But before that, just a couple of playoff appearances. So Kansas Wesleyan, another quarterfinal appearance here, kind of an up-and-comer here as of late.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Yeah, a few years ago, this Kansas Wesleyan team was toward the bottom of the KCAC. Here's a handoff up the middle at C.J. Fluker. But a good job turning things around. In 2018, this Kansas Wesleyan team, as you mentioned, a semifinalist, Jonathan, and they were the team that lost the game to Benedictine, and Morningside ended up playing Benedictine in the national championship game in 2018. And this Coyote team has made one heck of a turnaround from a team that they lived in the bottom of the KCAC to now being a national power year in and year out. Second down and 9 for the Coyotes at the 26. Dropping back to throw. Randall dumps it off into the traffic, and there's Drayvon Macon on a screen. It gets a yard to the 27, so it'll be third down and 8 upcoming.
Well, that's that jailbreak screen, and that was very well read by the Morningside safety and outside linebacker to disrupt the play.
So third down and 8. Kansas Wesleyan from their own 27-yard line, down 45-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Two receivers on either side. Randall on the pistol, motions a man to the left side. Blitz coming. Randall just tucks it deep down the left sideline. Macon got pushed. Yeah, Drew Bessie got in there a little too early, shoved him around. A pass interference is going to be called, and the Coyotes will get 1st and 10 on the DPI. Yeah,
that was cover 0. Morningside brought the house. They brought an outside linebacker, and they brought the inside linebacker, and that left man coverage across the board. And they just threw it up to the number 1 receiver, and they call it a 50-50 ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were looking for Drayvon Macon out there. Drew Bessie had the coverage and got in there a little too early. Ended up running into the receiver downfield. And so the pass interference call gives Kansas Wesleyan 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. With 10:48 to play here in the third quarter, 45-7, Morningside up on the People's Bank scoreboard. I want to remind you, our next Mustang Sports broadcast comes your way Wednesday. You are going to want to tune into that one. Morningside hosting Concordia in a GPAC basketball doubleheader. That should be a fun one. Here's Randall to throw, rolls out to his right, getting chased, just chucks it downfield. Williams chasing it, but that was too far away from Stevie Williams, and incomplete. Lonell Boyd Jr. on the coverage. Second down and 10 upcoming.
Has Steve Williams caught a pass today?
I will be able to tell you. He has 1 catch for 5 yards.
And I wonder how many times he's been targeted. Does it say?
Unfortunately does not. We don't have those stats, unfortunately, but it's been a lot, I would say. Yeah.
Really? I'd say it hasn't been enough.
Oh, okay.
Because I think they put Jamal Jones on Williams, and they're not trying to get him the ball enough on single coverage.
Screen pass out to Alsman across the 40-45, and Alsman run out of bounds at the Coyote 48-yard line, gain of 6. It's 3rd and 4.
He is your leading receiver,
yeah,
right?
Yep, 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, come hell or high water, I'd be trying to get him the ball. I mean, that's
right. Yeah, now that you say that, I guess it hasn't been a whole lot that they've thrown to Stevie. They've gone to Aaron Jenkins a lot more, number 86 there. And they've used Drayvon Macon a little bit in short routes, but Stevie has not been able to be targeted a whole lot. 3rd down and 3 here for the Coyotes from their own 49. Got to get to the Mustang 48. Randall, a give up the middle. Alsman stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Jalen Portis in there for no gain. Drew Bessie helped out on the tackle. So did Zach Keller, but Portis will get credit for that one. It's 4th and 3 for the Coyotes.
And that play right there is exactly what I'm talking about. They got Williams isolated to the wide side of the field. They got Jamal Jones playing single coverage on him with no safety help. Now the safeties are sneaking in the box to play run support. And you got the whole field one-on-one with your best receiver. You got to take advantage of that somewhat.
4th down and 2 from midfield. Coyotes looking to go for it. Morningside showed a blitz with Pingle and Wingert. 2 receivers on either side, and it is a timeout called with 1 second on the play clock from Isaiah Randall. 9:09 to play in the third quarter. The Coyotes burn a timeout, down 45-7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. We'll take a quick break. We're back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Mustang Football on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg and Bob Goodvin with you up in the booth. Jonathan Covert's down on the sideline. As our score, 45-7, Morningside leading on the People's Bank scoreboard. 9:09 left in the third quarter. This game just got to halftime. Top-ranked Lindsey Wilson all over Kaiser, 40-6. A big second quarter outburst from the Blue Raiders. 4th down and 2 at midfield. 2 receivers on either side. Randall drops to throw. Pass over the middle. Thrown wide of Aaron Jenkins and incomplete. It's a turnover on downs. Morningside takes over 1st and 10 from the 50-yard line. Now, Bob, I think they were trying to go back to that play earlier on where they were able to find Jenkins for a 1st down, but Jenkins ended up fumbling it to ruin that play, but looked like a similar kind of style of route.
It probably was exactly the same play. The difference is the middle linebacker stayed in the box that time, and it was just a smaller window to throw to.
A trips bunch set to the right on 1st and 10. Dalenchek in the gun from the 50-yard line. Turns right, throws a screen. It's Norton outside the right numbers, 45 into Coyote territory. And Norton comes up short of the marker at the 43. Gain of 7. Brings up 2nd and 3. 45-7. Morningside up on Kansas Wesleyan. The People's Bank scoreboard. 8:53 left in the third. Morningside looking for their 10th semifinal appearance in program history. Out of the pistol. Dalenchek a give up the middle. That is Ryan Cole. And he comes up to the 40-yard line and has enough for a 1st down. A 3-yard gain right when he needed 3. 1st down and 10 upcoming. Matt Strecker checks into the ball game for Ryan Cole. Matt Strecker, the 3rd different running back Morningside's used with both Michael Miner and Ryan Cole. And Strecker lines up at the pistol. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Motions Sievert into the backfield. On 1st and 10, a give up the middle. That is Strecker up the middle to the 35. And Strecker stood up at the 31. Keeps the pile moving across the 30 to the 28-yard line. That's a gain of 12 on the first touch of the game for Matt Strecker. It's 1st down and 10.
See, I think Strecker just brings a different element to the game. He brings more size. He brings more physicality. And not that Cole doesn't run hard. He just doesn't bring the weight that Strecker brings with him.
1st down and 10 now for the Mustangs. The Coyote 28-yard line. There's 4 receivers lined up left, 1 right. Dalenchek an empty backfield, throws a screen left side. Caught by Schweger. Left numbers 25-20. Runs into a defender and gets tackled backward at the 19, maybe the 18-yard line. Gain of 10, and it'll be 1st and 10 down to the red zone.
That's exactly the same play they run 100 times in 101 different versions of it. Did you see the left guard, Tyler Anderson, get out and block the corner?
That's another thing that baffles me about Morningside's O-linemen. They're so mobile. They're able to pull. They're able to make all kinds of play. Morningside has 10 players on the field right now. Here comes Austin Johnson off the sideline. Now the play clock's down to 7. Johnson's over to the right side of the field with 3 receivers. Now they have 11 on the field. Out of the pistol, Dalenchek give up the middle to Strecker at the 15, and Strecker tackled forward to the 14-yard line. Gain of about 4. It's 2nd and 6.
This would take a lot of fast thinking on your feet, but when they ran Austin Johnson on the field, did you notice the ref come in and stand in front of the quarterback so they can't snap the ball?
Right.
What Wesleyan could do at that point is make their own substitute, and they have to wait for the substitute to be, and then they'd get the delay game call.
Right. There's a handoff of the middle. Strecker up the left seam, across the line of scrimmage to the 11 and down to the 10-yard line. Gain of 4. It's 3rd and 2. I just found it funny when Joe was kind of looking across his line of scrimmage on that first play. He looked over to the sideline and was kind of confused. There was only 10 on the field. 6:20 to play in the third quarter. 2nd-ranked Morningside 45. 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Morningside looking for their 10th semifinal appearance in 16 tries. An offset I formation, 3rd and 2 at the Coyote 10. Up the middle give. It's Strecker. 1st down and more. Across the 8, down to the 5. And tackled down to the 4-yard line. It's a gain of 6. It's 1st and goal for Morningside.
One of the things we talked about off air was Wesleyan being able to move their number 1 receiver around to get different matchups. Watch what Morningside does with Jurgesmeyer. Just watch the different spots he's in. That last play, he lined up at tight end on the left side with his hand down. I mean, and this play, he'll probably line up as a number 1 receiver. Yep, he goes out there.
Number 1, he lines up as a slot. He's actually a slot technically right now.
Yep.
tight end, yeah, he does it all. 2 receivers on either side. First and goal at the 4. Check with Strecker off his right hip. 3-step drop out of the gun. Throws to the left sideline. Caught by Tuifua in the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Sione Tuifua with his 4th touchdown reception of the season. The Mustangs have broken 50. It's 51-7 Morningside on the People's Bank scoreboard.
If you're going to put your best DB on the best receiver, that's fine. You can put him anywhere you want. But if you put your best receiver in the number 3 spot and put everybody else at 1 and 2, and they got their best corner covering your number 3, what are they doing to your numbers 1 and 2 out here? Mm-hmm. And that's the stuff Morningside just is so good at and can find the advantage in the matchup.
Chase Carter's point after try sails through the uprights. It's good. 52-7 Morningside over Kansas Wesleyan. 5:22 left in the third. We'll take a 30-second break. We're back with more Mustang football after this on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg alongside Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Covert is down on the sideline, and we'll get a word in from Jonathan here in just a moment. Our score with 5:22 left to play in the third quarter. Second-ranked Morningside 52. 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 7 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Line drive, end-over-end kick, bounces out of the end zone on a hop for a touchback. Down to the third member of our crew we go. That is Jonathan Covert. And Jonathan, what kind of things are you noticing as you roam around down there?
Morningside definitely has all cylinders firing here in this 52-7 game, Daniel. But I wanted to go back and highlight a little bit about that Kansas Wesleyan team we were talking about, that team that made the 2018 run. They were 4-1 against top 25 teams. They ended up in the top 5 at the end of the year. And all of their playoff games up until the loss to Benedictine were really close, beating Langston 15-9 in the first round and beating Dickinson State, who was ranked 15th at the time, 43-40. And they won that game with just 46 seconds to go, did the Coyotes. So a little bit about that 2018 Kansas Wesleyan team.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jonathan. A very, very good team in Kansas Wesleyan history, one that definitely is being looked back on with fondness. As a 10-yard completion there to Jaquante Pitts. Moves the chains for Kansas Wesleyan to the 35-yard line. The Coyotes, well, they're going to come up short of another semifinal appearance here this season as Randall drops back to throw. Pass over the left seam. That one's caught at the 45. Stevie Williams with only his second catch of the game. Takes it in between the hashes and dives for a first down to the 47. It's a gain of 12, and it's 1st and 10.
Yeah, they just hit him on a little in route, and I think they weren't playing man coverage on him at that point. See, right now Jamal Jones is 7 yards off of him, so they're not playing as much press man with a 40-point lead.
1st and 10 of the 47. Here is Randall to throw. Has some time. Good coverage here from the offensive line. Now Randall lost the football, and he dives on it at his own 46-yard line. Randall loses a yard on the play, brings up 2nd down and 11.
Yeah, if a young quarterback's watching this, one of the things you want your quarterback to do is keep both hands on the ball and just for ball security. And when you're running around at full speed making cuts with only one hand on the ball, it's easy to drop the ball, and that's exactly what he did.
2nd down and 11 upcoming. 3:51 to play in the third quarter. 52-7 Morningside on the People's Bank scoreboard. I want to remind you you're listening to KMNS Sioux City. Here's a pass over the middle. It's caught. Macon breaks a tackle up the middle of the field. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. And all the way gone for a Coyote touchdown. 54-yard completion to Drayvon Macon has put the Coyotes back on the scoreboard. It is 52-13 Morningside leading on the People's Bank scoreboard.
Well, that's that making a play that we talk about, and that's a good play by number 2. He caught the ball and made the safety miss on the tackle and was able to score, and That's what they need to do in the first half.
Trayvon Macon with only his third receiving touchdown of the season. Point after try upcoming from Aaron Main. The Coyote kicker, the snap, the hold, the point after sails through the uprights. It's good. 52-14, 3:36 to play in the third quarter as Kansas Wesleyan puts one in from 54 yards out to Trayvon Macon. We're back in 30 seconds. More Mustang football coming up after this on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg and Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Covert's down on the sideline for us. Our score, 3:36 to play in the third quarter. Second-ranked Morningside 52, 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan 14 here on the People's Bank scoreboard. Take a look at the scores from around the NAIA Football Championship Series here really quickly as the ball blown off the tee. Halftime, Lindsey Wilson leading Kaiser 40-6 is the score. Concordia has just gotten into the end zone but missed the point after try. They trail Grandview 17-16 with a minute 56 left in the third quarter. Oh, my
third
goodness.
Quarter. That was later in the game.
Well, third quarter here. It's getting close to that one, but a 50-yard touchdown pass for the Cardinals, and they missed the point after to keep it a one-score game. Marion's got on the scoreboard. That game starting the fourth quarter in Orange City as the Red Raiders lead 19-17 starting the fourth quarter of that contest. The kickoff is fair caught inside the 25-yard line, so it'll go out to the 25, and it will be first down and 10 for Morningside there as they start this drive late in the third quarter. So we've got some good contests around the country. Right now, all four total, including this one, all four home teams are currently winning their contest, meaning we could get all chalk in the semifinal with the top four seeds making it on to the NAIA Football Championship Series. But that being said, number 1 and number 2 have blowouts going. Number 3 and number 4 have 2 or 1 point ball games right now as the give goes up the middle. And it's Matt Strecker out to the 29-yard line, gain of 4. Kansas Wesleyan thinks the ball came out. They recovered it, but they say down by contact. So only a gain of 4. It's 2nd and 6. We'll thankfully, last week was a doozy just because of how the travel went for Montana Western. They didn't get to play Lindsey Wilson until Sunday afternoon, so we had to wait an extra day for the matchups to come out in the quarterfinal round. But thankfully, our semifinal matchup should come out pretty darn quickly after the game is done today. 3 receivers to the left, none to the right. Pistol set for Joe Dolenchek. Turns to his left and gives it to Strecker. Bounces off, tackle left side, 30, 35. Oh, he took a big hit across the 35 to the 36. It's a gain of 7 and a first down for the Mustangs.
You know, I think moving forward, if Anthony Sims is gonna be out of action, I think Strecker can play a big role for Morningside and just being the second back, if not third back, getting some carries, just because he brings some physicality when he runs. And that, like you said, that last run is a good example of that.
Yeah, lowers the shoulders, able to dish the hit while taking it. 2:20 to play in the third quarter. Yeah, it's going to be a tough one to see how long Anthony's out and, who they can put in his place. 1st and 10 of the 36. Dolenchek throws a screen pass out to the right sideline, caught by Michael Payne, and he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage, if even that. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for the Mustangs at the 36.
That's a really good play by number 7, the corner, Holmes. He came up, took on the blocker, kept the play inside of him like he needs to do, and came off the block and made the tackle.
And Bill Bear Jones, a sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee, that the player making that play out there, the backup corner. Here's 2nd down and 10 for the Mustangs. 2 receivers on either side of Joe Dolenchek. from just inside the right hash mark of the 36. Dalenchuk now the snap, play action, throws right sideline. That one's caught across the 40 by Jake Towdy. Oh, but it came out of his hands on the hit. Good job out there by the outside linebacker, Zaire Velasquez, to jar the ball loose at the 40 of Jake Towdy. It's 3rd down and 10.
You know, and think about the formation there. They put Towdy is all but a fullback in their offense. Right. I mean, they list him as the H-back, but and they put him in the number 1 spot out there, which takes the corner out there on him, and they moves the receiver to the number 2 spot, which puts the safety on him or the linebacker on him, and then that's just how they get their matchups.
1:25 left in the third, 52-14 Morningside. Here's the play action fake. Dalenchuk throws an open Towdy, left sideline 40-45, and lowers his shoulder across midfield and gets brought down in Coyote territory at the 49-yard line. That's 15 yards to a wide open Jake Towdy. It's 1st and 10. And that's something you highlighted earlier on in the contest. Morningside's wide receivers just are so open, it's ridiculous.
Well, what they're doing right now is Wesleyan's pressing the number 1s, and thus number 1 just runs vertical, and the number 2 runs a speed out. Well, the linebacker's way inside of number 2, and the safety's way off, and that's why he's wide open.
Here's 1st and 10 from the Coyote 49. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Pistol set, Joe Dalenchuk. Strecker in the backfield. Sievert motions across the line to the right side. Handoff is Strecker. In between the hashes across the 48 to the 47. That's about it. A 2-yard gain there for Matt Strecker. And it's 2nd down and 8.
It kind of looks like the skill players for Morningside have the rest of the day off.
Yeah, Joe's not getting a day off here, but Sievert and Towdy are the only ones left out there, it looks like. And Morningside's going to tick this one down to the end of the 3rd quarter. Before we end this 3rd quarter, I do want to make you aware, Marion has taken the lead on Northwestern. It's 20-19. Gage Puterbaugh with a field goal from 25. And the Knights lead the Red Raiders by a point in Orange City. 3 quarters in the books, though, here in Sioux City. 2nd-ranked Morningside is all over 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan, 52-14 on our People's Bank scoreboard. We'll take a 1-minute break. We're back with the 4th quarter after this. You're listening to Mustang Football on Fox Sports Radio, 620 KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Start of the 4th quarter. Daniel Versteeg, Bob Goodman with you. Jonathan Coverts on the sideline. 2nd and 8. Dalenchuk steps up in the pocket, throws it deep over the middle to Zach Norton and overthrew him and incomplete. Just a couple of yards out of the reach of Norton. The incompletion brings up 3rd and 8.
Yeah, that's a route that it's referred to as a lot of different things, but it's a corner route by number 2 and a post route by number 1, and the corner route is over the top of the post, so what you do is you create a natural rub, and if he throws that ball just a little bit higher, it would have been a touchdown because he had a beat.
Yep. Start of the 4th quarter, 52-14, Morningside up on Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard. Dropping back to throw, Dalenchuk over the left sideline, and a dangerous ball into traffic, trying to find Schwagert, almost forcing it in there, but Bill Bear Jones sticks his paw and gets it out of there, incomplete. It's 4th down and 8, and here comes Colton Earlbeck in the punting unit. So Morningside forced a punt for only the 2nd time this afternoon. The Mustangs leading 52-14 on the People's Bank scoreboard. I mentioned it at the end of the 3rd quarter. I'll mention it again here. Marion holds a 20-19 lead on Northwestern in Orange City. The Knights, the 2019 NAIA national runners-up are trying to make it back to the semifinals. A kick from Earlbeck into the wind, bounces with Kansas Wesleyan out of bounds on the left sideline at the 25. They mark it down at about the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Kansas Wesleyan at their own 30.
Well, that's an average killer there. That's only a 20-yard punt, but the wind just killed it, and then it took a bad bounce.
Yeah, Colton Earlbeck has not played the average game very well this season. Not to be that guy, but his average is under 40 yards per punt, which great punters usually get above 40 yards. 35 to 40 is okay. Here's a throw left sideline for Macon. And overthrows Jalen Macon, who was covered by Jalen Portis on the left sideline. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Well, they had the matchup they wanted. They had outside linebacker on number 2, the wideout, and they just weren't able to execute it.
You think, in watching that play, do you think if they let that one go a little bit farther, that allows Macon to get past Jalen on that play a little more?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just kind of baffles me why they don't do the same thing with Williams on the other side. I mean, he's your guy.
Right.
And
Aaron Jenkins makes the catch of the 35, picks up 5 to bring up 3rd and 5. So Kansas Wesleyan able to get something to make 3rd down a little bit more manageable. A place they haven't been at a whole lot this contest on 3rd down. Morningside fans are still into it here late in a blowout in the quarterfinal round of the NAIA Football Championship Series. 3 receivers right, 1 left. Isaiah Randall in the pistol. Drops back to throw. Looks right now, looks left. Throws it well overthrown of Stevie Williams at incomplete. Jamal Jones covering him. It's now 4th and 5 for the Coyotes, and they will punt.
Well, again, they put Williams to the single receiver side, and Jones presses him. And they try to run a little hitch route. Well, it's pretty tough to run a hitch route to press coverage, so the quarterback's forced to throw the ball away.
13:57 to play. Morningside able to tack on to an impressive playoffs to this point. They scored 63 last week against Ottawa while giving up 38. They have scored 52 already today, giving up 14. There's a high spiraler. What a kick toward the left sideline, but unfortunately did not keep that ball in bounds very long. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. They'll get the ball at their own 35-yard line to start this drive. Let's try and find the 3rd member of our crew down on the sideline. Jonathan Covert is down there for us. We have a little time to talk to him. Jonathan, what kind of things do you have for us down there?
So, Daniel, I've got you a little bit of a different one here with their score 52-14. Salina, Kansas. Now, I know for you this name is going to sound familiar because it's indoor football. Sioux City goes down and plays Salina, Kansas. 8-9 the series in favor of Salina. They've been 2 different names from 13 to 16. The Bombers, 18 to the present. They're the Liberty. Interestingly enough, with the name the Bombers, Sioux City was 7-2 against them. Since turning to the Liberty, Salina has fared much better, winning 7 of the last 8.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. Yeah, I know that Salina trip all too well, and the folks down there are great. Unfortunately, to Jonathan's point, as of late, the Bandits have not fared very well down in Salina, Kansas. So
maybe next year Nebraska changes their name to the Liberty, and they'll be able to beat Iowa.
All right, there you go, Bob. Here comes the angry letters from all the Husker fans listening.
My name's Daniel.
Oh, yeah, all right. There's you sound like Nathan Hoagland with that one. There's a 3-yard gain for Mike Miner. Oh, man. Yeah, from all of us at Morningside University, we don't condone the Husker hate. We are a neutral party here on this one. Here's 3rd and 6. Oh, man. Mustang 39-yard line, 2 receivers on either side. It's Stalinchek and turns to the sideline to get a different play. 10 on the play clock, 12:30 on the game clock. Morningside up 52-14. There's the play action fake. Stalinchek over the middle. Great leaping catch across midfield and getting brought down. That's Laken Harnley, the sophomore from Huskerland in Lincoln, out to the 45-yard line. He picks up 16 and a 1st down for the Mustangs.
Well, that's a good catch. He goes vertical to catch it. The catches the ball way above his head, and the safety is right on top of him, and that takes some courage.
Lakin Harnley there, the sophomore. I know he's I think he's high on the coaching staff's radar to maybe step up there, and you know, there's going to be a question. Austin Johnson, Reed Juergensmeyer, you graduate those two. Caleb Schwagert's a senior. Does he use his COVID year? That's kind of the question surrounding some of these players here from Morningside. A handoff up the middle. This is Michael Miner picking up 2 yards to the Coyote 43. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
I wonder how many school records will be broke by individuals who have the advantage of the COVID year. I mean, that's
well, Reed's getting close to the career touchdown record here set by Connor Niles. You know, a lot of those records that Connor set we didn't think would be broken. Now, he's not going to get receiving yards or receptions, but he could get the touchdown record. He still needs 4 to break that record, so 4 over the next 2 games is not out of the realm of possibility. I know Sierra Mitchell's going to blow the scoring record out of the water in women's basketball, which is going to be fun to see. There's a give up the middle, Matt Strecker. And Strecker stood up at the 43, only a gain of 1, 3rd down and 8. We're on to remind you, we will have basketball coming up on Wednesday. The Mustang women with Sierra Mitchell will take on a ranked opponent in Concordia. The Mustang men take on the Concordia Bulldogs, who are receiving votes in the latest NAIA coaches poll. That's going to be a fun one. You're going to want to tune in. 5:45, our pregame starts on Wednesday. We'll be at the Alley Gym, so either come on out, you're going to see some great basketball there, or tune in right here to KMNS Wednesday afternoon at 5:45. 3rd down and 8 for the Mustangs at the Coyote 43-yard line. A receiver on either side. 2 receivers right and 1 receiver left. Someone who's gotten the vuvuzela out as Dolinchek drops back to throw. Throws right sideline. Caught by Towdy across the 45. An extra lunge and bounds across the 35 to the 34. Great second effort there by Towdy. Picks up 9, and a Mustang 1st down.
You think about how good a career Connor Niles had. He has those school records and did it in 4 years.
Right.
And probably less games per year than Juergensmeyer's played in, because Juergensmeyer's probably played in 13, 14 games every year.
Well, he's had the 2 national championships.
Yep.
Connor only had the 1.
And they've been to the semifinals every year.
Right.
And plus another year. So
in Reed's defense, they've had, I think, less regular season games than Connor, but that's, you know, a few less. But, I see what you mean, though. Here's 1st and 10 of the Coyote 34. Strecker stood up for only a yard gain of the 33. 2nd and 9 upcoming.
And now I'm just not talking about Morningside either. I'm talking, you know, nationwide, how many school records would be broke by COVID years.
You're right.
And then, and you think about it, those records might not be approachable.
Right.
Because you got a less year in the future. So
well, but here's if you want to talk about how great Connor Niles was, okay, he may end up losing the receiving touchdown record, which is an NAIA and Morningside record. But you take a look at where Reed sits when it comes to, say, okay, career receiving yards. He would still need about 1,100 receiving yards to get to Connor's record, even with the 5th COVID year. I mean, that's how impressive Connor was. There's Strecker breaking tackles up the right numbers to the 20 to the 15 and brought down to the 14-yard line. He picks up 19 while we were jabbering. It's 1st and 10 down to the red zone.
Yeah, I really like Strecker as a back. I mean, he showed that last year in the playoffs in the spring when AP Ponder wasn't available, and I just think he runs vertical, and he runs with some physicality, and I just think he brings something different to the game.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he puts himself into the running back list. Say if Sims is out next week again, what they're going to be able to do with Strecker back there. 1st and 10 of the Coyote 13. A give up the middle at Strecker to the 10. Lowers his shoulder. Tackled forward to the 8-yard line. Gain of 5 for Strecker. 2nd and 5 upcoming with 8 minutes left in the ball game.
And to be honest with you, late in the game might be his time. You know, he's fresh. He's bigger. I mean, that just...
Yeah, it just doesn't give you a break back there.
Yep.
But they do check Strecker out and bring Bryson Freeberg in, a sophomore. The 4th running back of the contest for the Mustangs. And they keep Joe Dolinchek out there, which is interesting. They've subbed out everybody else around him, it seems like, except for maybe the offensive line. But Joe's staying out there here with a 52-14 Mustang lead. 7:28 to play in the ballgame. It's 2nd down and 5 from the Coyote 8. There's the give around the left side. Freeberg trying to pick up some yardage, gets across the 6 down to the 5. That's where he stopped. A 3-yard gain for Bryson Freeberg, and it is 3rd down and 2.
That's that G-scheme play that Morningside runs quite often, where they pull the backside guard, and depending on what front and how many people you have in the box, will determine what the backside guard does, whether he kicks the defensive end out or he wraps on the play side linebackers, all determined by how many guys are in the box and where they're at on the line of scrimmage.
Want to remind you our Long Lines post-game report is coming up at the conclusion of the contest. Jonathan's going to talk to Coach Ryan live on our Long Lines post-game report. We'll recap the ball game and take a look at scores around the NAIA Championship Series. There's a give around the left side, Bryson Freeberg. And, close to the marker. He stood up short of the 4, only a gain of 1. It'll be 4th and 1. The Mustangs needed the 3 to move the chains.
Yeah, I was going to say, here comes Strecker probably.
Yep, on a 4th and 1. I will give you a glimpse into what things are looking at across the country. Northwestern is back in front. They lead Marion 25-20 with about 9:08 left to play in the ball game. Grandview's up 24-16 on Concordia. That game is also pretty close. Here's 4th and 1. Offset I formation. Dalenchek under center at the Coyote 4-yard line. 6:03 to play. Morningside tries to move the chains for 1st and goal. Give up the middle. Strecker. And he is swallowed up. That spot is not favorable. This might be a turnover on downs. That spot is not favorable. They didn't give him anything on the carry. And Lee, the Coyotes taking over. 1st down and 10 at their own 4. On the turnover on downs, Morningside stood up inside the 5 and will be kept out of the end zone one final time here this afternoon. 5:54 to play in the ball game. 52-14, Morningside up on Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard. So Morningside's going to pick up their 10th win all time in the NAIA Football Championship Series quarterfinal round. Mustangs are 10-6 all time in quarterfinal contests. Morningside back to the semifinals for the 5th consecutive playoffs. There's a flea flicker play. They tried this earlier. Randall chucks it deep over the middle. Aaron Jenkins comes back. Couldn't haul in the pass at the 40. John Andreessen, the backup corner, makes a great play on the ball. Knocks it away from Jenkins. It's 2nd and 10.
I think the play that was made is about right in the middle of the route. He kind of reached out and grabbed the receiver and spun him around a little bit, and it allowed him to catch up to him. But that's the same play they opened the game with, wasn't it?
Yep. That was one of the first plays of the contest for them. And there was great coverage on that play earlier on that didn't allow anybody open, and Morningside with great coverage again. Randall drops back into the end zone to throw. Oh, he's in a lot of trouble in the back of the end zone. Throws it deep over the right sideline and well overthrows his intended target, Patton Gurman, and incomplete. It's 3rd and 10, 5:38 to play. So again, Morningside is going to make their 5th consecutive semifinal appearance. And when you think about how the Mustangs have fared in those semifinals, they're 2-2. They lost in 2017 in Fort Wayne, won in 2018 and 2019 in Sioux City, and then they dropped that wild contest in the spring to Northwestern. Drop it to throw, Randall on 3rd and 10. Pass over the middle. That's caught by Williams at the 15-yard line of Kansas Wesleyan. They gave him the 16. A gain of 12, and the Coyotes move the chains. It's 1st and 10. Kansas Wesleyan moves the chains, keeps the drive alive with 5:22 to play in the ball game, and a 52-14 Mustang advantage on the People's Bank scoreboard. Kansas Wesleyan just trying to end this season on a high note here. They'll bring back Isaiah Randall next year, the co-offensive player of the year in the conference. There he goes, scrambling, now throwing left sideline, dropped by Stevie Williams at the 30-yard line. Ball right into his breadbasket, couldn't haul it in. It's 2nd and 10. 5:01 to play. Again, Morningside will not officially know their playoff opponent until later on today. I think I made a comment earlier that I was hinting at Northwestern. I guess I would guarantee either Northwestern or Grandview, depending on how the NAIA is okay with putting 2 schools in the same conference on the other side, on opposite sides of the bracket, as a pass falls incomplete to Aaron Jenkins.
Well, I wouldn't punish the GPAC just because they have 2 of the Final 4 teams in there.
No, I agree.
I mean, the NCAA doesn't do that with the SEC. I mean, so
it's a good point.
And if you're the number 1 seed, don't you have to play the number 4 seed when you're talking only a difference of a couple hundred miles travel?
Right.
I mean, you're already traveling 1,000 miles. What's 200 more? I mean, and don't tell me 200 either.
Pass well overthrown of Drayvon Macon on 3rd down. It'll be 4th down and 10 for the Coyotes at the 15.
And to be honest with you, and I shouldn't say this because it's the jinx, but if I'm Morningside, I think I'd rather play Grandview than Northwestern, and
right.
because I don't think, I've said this before, I don't think anybody's going to stop Morningside from scoring 35, 40 points.
Right.
And I'm not so sure Grandview can match them offensively. That's
sure.
Just looking at their numbers. I know they're very, very good on defense. I think they're second in the country in defense.
Right. Yep.
But again, they haven't seen this offense.
No.
And
right.
And to hold this team right here at less than 35 points, I think is almost impossible.
Well, if you remember the last time these two teams met in the semifinals in 2019, Grandview did do that. They held Morningside to 21, lost 21-16.
Now,
but
why'd you have to say that? I had a good thing going. I had a little momentum.
That's true. You did have some momentum.
I should know better than to mess with the stat geek over here, man. But was it a cold, windy day? I'm going to say it was a miserable day. Come on.
If it was Grandview, yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, of course, then everybody brings up the 2013 semifinal that you had the fortune of broadcasting down there in Des Moines. You still are not a fan of going down to Des Moines.
Well, I've been to Des Moines a few times, but it's sitting outside on a 10 below day. That's what I'm not too fond of. And I did happen to take Curtis Anderson out of my will after that happened too. So.
And that makes sense. That makes sense. I wouldn't be happy with him either after that. 4th and 10 for the Coyotes. They're going for it from their own 15. Randall, a deep drop, pump fakes. Oh, he's in trouble. And he's sacked inside the 5-yard line. Big stop, Hayden Mendel on the stop. And a big loss back inside the 5. Morningside will take over 1st and goal, and they're going to have an opportunity to put another one on the board with 4:45 to play.
That's a coverage sack all the way. I mean, he was looking to throw the ball to the wide side of the field, and there's just nobody open. And when you can't ask your offensive line to block too long, I don't care who you're playing. I mean, you just can't pass block that long.
Right. 4:45 to play, 52-14 Morningside. Quick update, scores haven't changed a whole lot. Grandview's up 24-16 on Concordia. The Vikings have the ball back. Northwestern leads Marion 25-20 with 5:23 to play. The Red Raiders also have the ball back, up 5. Ladwig with a give up the middle. It's Strecker bouncing off tackle right side. Breaking tackles on his way into the end zone for a Mustang touchdown. Strecker finally finds pay dirt. And Morningside leads 58-14 here on the People's Bank scoreboard.
And that's why I like him. He ran through 3 tackles, one of them in the backfield, and I just think he brings a different element to him.
Point after try here for Chase Carter to try and increase the Mustang lead to 45. 4:40 to play. 59 points put up here in the playoffs. Once again, 63 points last week, 59 points this week. Again, I guess barring the point after, we do have a flag thrown ahead of this kick from Chase Carter. I do want to remind you our Long Lines post-game report is coming up at the conclusion of the contest. We'll have a post-game interview with Coach Steve Ryan. We'll run down post-game stats and take a look at whatever scores we have into the NAIA Football Championship Series quarterfinals when we get to our Long Lines post-game report at the conclusion of the contest. So Carter will try a bit of a longer point after try after the call was a false start on the Mustangs. Kicking from the 15 instead of the 10. Snapping the spot. The point after kick is still, no, it's wide right. No good from Chase Carter. Only the 2nd point after try he has missed this season. 58-14, Morningside, 4:40 to play in the contest. We'll take a quick 30-second break. Back with more Mustang football after this on Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS, Sioux City. welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg alongside Bob Goodvin up in the booth. Jonathan Covert joins us on the sideline. We'll check in with Jonathan here in just a moment. Our score, second-ranked Morningside, 58. 10th-ranked Kansas Wesleyan, 14 here on the People's Bank scoreboard. And it will be Chase Carter to boot this one away. Bryson Freeberg on the hole. There's a high right-footed end-over-end kick, and that backs Stevie Williams up to the 5, but he lets it roll into the end zone for touchback. Let's check in with the third member of our crew, Jonathan Covert, who's down on the sideline for us. Jonathan, what do you got for us?
So, Daniel, I'm going to go back to the indoor football between Salina and Sioux City. So I talked about how it's been tough for Sioux City down the stretch, but when it comes to semifinal meetings, Salina and Sioux City have met 3 different times. Sioux City won twice, 2014 and 2018. Salina won a 1-point game back in 2013. The 2014 win for Sioux City, 66-37, and the 2018 win was a big win for Sioux City as well.
Yeah, we've had some great meetings with Salina and Sioux City in indoor football. Of course, Kansas Wesleyan cheering for the Liberty and the Bombers back in the day there. Dropping back to throw, Randall pass over the middle, and the pass is dropped by Drayvon Macon at the 45-yard line. Incompletion, it'll be second down and 10. 4:34 to play in this ball game. Morningside up 58-14 on the People's Bank scoreboard. Stick around, our Long Lines post-game reports coming up. You'll hear from Coach Ryan. You'll hear all the scores we can get to you by the end of the contest. We might be able to have all games final. We'll see how we can do about that. Of course, we're at the mercy of the other contests. Here is Randall in the pistol. 3 receivers to his left, 1 to his right. Dropping to throw. Randall stands tall in the pocket, pump fakes, passes short. Drayvon Macon at the 35-yard line, and incompletion. 3rd down and 10 upcoming.
The quarterback that time did a good job of going through his read progression and coming down and finding number 2, which would have been the 3rd read in the progression. But had he thrown to him a little bit sooner, I think he would have been open for a big gain.
3rd and 10 here. Morningside faithful still making noise on 3rd down, and this has helped hold Kansas Wesleyan to 5 of 14 on 3rd down tries. Randall to throw, blitz coming, throws it deep left sideline, and some miscommunication there with Aaron Jenkins. He was nowhere near the flight of the football, and incompletion. It is 4th down and 10 for Kansas Wesleyan.
I'll tell you who I would vote for defensive player of the game, and that's Jamal Jones.
Right.
And I said off air he's going to have 0 stats.
Right.
You said he had 1 tackle.
1 tackle.
But he changed the game because he took their number 1 receiver totally out of the game. And I know no one's going to give MVP defensive player to a guy with 1 tackle, but
right.
he changed the game more than anybody did.
Right. There's a pass right side. Oh, and Colton Dreeth bats it away from Stevie Williams on 4th and 10. Incompletion, turnover on downs. But we have a flag beforehand. And, I will say Jamal Jones does have a fumble recovery, so that adds on to his stats a little bit. But, unfortunately, he hasn't picked up any pass breakups or –
They didn't throw his way.
Yeah, exactly.
He literally took that guy completely out of the game.
We had an offsides penalty on Morningside, so 5 yards. We'll try again with 4th and 5 for the Coyotes at their own 30. I would agree with you. Jamal has taken Stevie Williams completely out of this ball game. And you heard Coach Ryan make a joking comment that Williams has been at Kansas Wesleyan for about 25 years. I mean, it's felt like it with the amount of success he's had. There's a pass over the middle. There's Williams with a leaping grab across the 40 to the 43-yard line. It's a gain of 13 and a 1st down. And there, to your point again, Bob, that's what happens when Jamal Jones is not on Stevie Williams. He makes a big play over the middle.
Well, they've targeted him more here in the 4th quarter when Jones has been out of the game than they probably have all game.
Yep.
So
1st down and 10 for the Coyotes of their own 43. 3:52 to play. Dropping to throw. Deep ball from Randall, left sideline, and a great catch by Patton Kerman inside the 25-yard line down to the 20. That's a pickup of 37. It's 1st down and 10 toward the red zone.
Well, I'm going to compliment the throw. That was a perfect throw. When you throw a fade route, you want the ball on the outside shoulder of the receiver, and that's exactly where that ball was.
3 right, 1 left. The Coyotes trying to add 1 more before the end of the game. Randall the throw. Blitz coming. Dumps it off into the flats, and a shoestring tackle. Save potentially a score on the screen to Nick Alsman. Hayden Mendel on the stop. It's second down and 5 to the 15.
Well, if he doesn't make that stop, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Wasn't one of the Kotzer boys number 57?
They were, yes.
I'm having a flashback. I thought it was the Kotzer out there making a great play because that was a good play.
And Isaac Pingle, who wears 39, that was another Kotzer number. But yeah, that's definitely a flashback moment there. A handoff up the middle, Nick Alsman. And he carries it up the hash to the 12. Gain of 3, it's 3rd and 2. Yeah, Joel was number 39, Jake was number 57. But it didn't matter whether you saw Jake or Joel, you knew you were in trouble. They knew how to make plays. It's 3rd down and 2 at the Mustang 12. Coyotes trying to cut into this 58-14 deficit with 2:30 to play in regulation. Pistol set for Randall. Receiver on either side of him. Motions Jenkins to the left, now back to the right, now back to the left again. Randall rolls to his left to throw to the end zone, lobs it up for Williams, and a leaping catch on a 50-50 ball into the end zone for a Kansas Wesleyan touchdown. Stevie Williams hauls in his first score of the afternoon, 16th of the season, and the Coyotes cut it to a 58-20 ball game on the People's Bank scoreboard.
And where was that earlier in the game?
Yeah.
And then that's because of number 3.
Yep.
I mean,
exactly. Now this drive has been totally proving your point there. It's point after try from Aaron Main, the junior, to add on to the score, the snap in the spot, and the point after kick through the uprights. And good. 58-21 Morningside, 2:12 to play in regulation. We're back in 30 seconds. Morningside will get the ball and be able to just run out the clock from there. We're back in 30 seconds. It's Mustang football on Fox Sports Radio 620, KMNS, Sioux City. We welcome you back to Elwood Olson Stadium. Daniel Versteg and Bob Goodman up in the booth. Jonathan Covert's down on the sideline. 2:12 to play in the ball game. 58-21, Morningside up on Kansas Wesleyan on the People's Bank scoreboard. The Coyotes will be kicking this one away. And we might see, I don't know, maybe some kind of a trickery here on the kick, see if Kansas Wesleyan can get the ball back. But at this point, all an exercise in futility here. Aaron Main's ready to kick it away, whatever he does end up doing. And he approaches and sends a short kick toward the right numbers, and it is fielded by Bryson Freeberg. And he goes down at his own 42-yard line, so 1st and 10 there for the Mustangs. Taking a look at the scoreboard in Orange City. Marion had the football with about 1:30 to play. And Zach Bundelow, the quarterback for the Knights, threw an interception to Jaden Snyder. They were at the Red Raider 42, threw an interception to the Red Raider 31. Northwestern has the ball. Marion's using timeouts with 1:11 to play. Red Raiders up 25-20 in that one. Grandview's up 31-16. They tacked on a touchdown here late in the 4th. And Lindsey Wilson's just blowing out Kaiser. It's 47-6 in that contest in quarter number 3. Handoff up the middle. And on the carry there is Freeberg getting across the 45 to the 47-yard line. It's a gain of 5, and it's 2nd and 5 for the Mustangs. They just run out the clock here, 1:55 to play. You're going to want to stay tuned for our Long Lines post-game report. Coach Ryan will talk with Jonathan Covert. We'll take a look at stats and scores from around the NAIA, recap this one. All coming up on the Long Lines post-game reports. Morningside ticks that play clock down as long as they can before they get lined up once again with 1:35 to play. So we'll say this. As long as that score is going to hold up in Orange City, which it looks like it will, but still some time left in that one, we'll see either Northwestern or Grandview. As Freeberg gets back to the line of scrimmage on a carry right side, 3rd and 5. We'll see either Northwestern or Grandview here next week as the NAIA Football Championship Series will roll along. I have a feeling it's Northwestern. Bob thinks it's Grandview, and we'll find out what the NAIA decides. I mean, they could go either way. I could see it going either way, and so I would second that. I mean, it's up in the air at this point what the NAIA is going to decide to do here, but whatever they're going to do is going to make for an exciting semifinal. As Morningside's ticking this clock down, and just as they are about to kneel the ball down, the game in Orange City's gone final. Northwestern wins 25-20, and they are on to the semifinals as Ladwig kneels it down. 30 seconds to play, almost a catastrophe with Jake Towdy and one of our referees. As referee fell over Jake Towdy. The clock's going to run out here at Elwood Olson Stadium, and for the 10th time in program history, your Morningside University Mustang football team is on to the NAIA Football Championship Series semifinals. The 10th time in program history, 5th consecutive season, Morningside is advancing to the semifinals. A 58-21 victory, the final score here at Elwood Olson Stadium on the campus of Morningside University. So the Mustangs and Red Raiders are on to the semifinals. Grandview is close, up 15 with 2 minutes to play. And Lindsey Wilson is up in a blowout on Kaiser in Kentucky. So we're pretty much there with our 4 semifinalists. But Morningside is one of them. Once again, 5th consecutive year, 10th year in program history. 58-21 the final. We'll take a break. We're back in 3 minutes. Our Long Lines post-game report coming up around the corner. Coach Ryan will talk with Jonathan Covert down on the field. Take a look at stats from this contest, break it down for you, and scores around the NAIA. All that and more coming up in 3 minutes on our Long Lines post-game report. Back after this on Fox Sports Radio 620 KMNS, Sioux City.
Coaches and parents continue to know, view, and value the right things, both inside and outside of sports. Learn more at championcomparative.org. At this time, the NAIA recognizes the Kansas Character honorees from both teams. For the Kansas Wesleyan tie-up, Anthony Vargas. For the Mustangs, Cooper Von Seger. As selected by the media covering today's contest, today's players of the game are on offense, Joe Darlington for the Mustangs. And on defense, Jalen Portis for the Mustangs. Again, a hearty congratulations to Kansas Wesleyan. Mustangs, you head to the semifinal round. Morningside University thanks you all for your attendance today. We hope you had a safe and a happy Thanksgiving holiday. Please take great care as you leave Olson Stadium. Wear your seatbelt. And remember that every day is a great day to be a Mustang.